Victory for the Wildcats, and also they met in the playoffs last year with Benjamin Russell sending Homewood packing. 2 6A teams a season ago, back in Class 5A, and both trying to do battle here, hoping to walk away with a 5A championship.
And they are very familiar with one another because guess what? When they opened the season in 2001, they come to Birmingham, and it'll be Benjamin Russell playing at Homewood.
This is the one that matters most, the one that allows the winner to walk away with a championship trophy. As you see the Patriots, the last time they were in the championship game, 1995, on one of the most miserable nights I've ever seen in my life. The rain, the cold at Waldrop Stadium, the home field for Homewood. The last year that we had the championship games played on the home campuses for the two teams, but in the muck, in the mud, they slopped their way to a state championship over Blount High School. They also won it way back in 1974. Patriots winning back then the Class 4A state championship.
Well, keep an eye on this offense. It's explosive. Spoke with Bob Newton today, and I said, Bob, how would you describe your offense? I said, it looks to me, with the shotgun and the one back, it appears to me it's like the West Coast that's become so trendy. He said, well, I don't know what you call it. We went to Clemson over the summer. We spent time with Tommy Bowden's staff. We loved it, so we adopted it. So I'm going to call it the Tommy Bowden Clemson offense. That's what you're going to see. And if you want to see a huge offensive line, wait till we see this Benjamin Russell team. By far the biggest team up front in this entire Super 6. They average better than 254.
Brent Dye handling the kicking duties. It's a short kick, and I tell you what, if the opening kickoff is any indication, strap it on, folks. We got a good one going here at Legion Field. Shondell Rousseau leveling Jared Simpson.
Boy, level, that's a great description of that play. Ooh, as soon as he caught it, I mean, he was nailed dead in his tracks, and they're sending a message early. Folks, you better hang on. This is going to be one terrific football game.
Quarterback 1A is Parker Gargis, the designated starter tonight. They rotate him. He'll play 2 series at quarterback before giving way to Bragg Knott. He will keep it himself as Gargis battles his way near the 34-yard line. Corey Davis making the stop as we look at the starters. That offensive front from Homewood with Bodkin and Mathis at the guards, Hicks the center, Reed and Brown are your tackles for the Patriots. Strauss, the running back, over 250 carries on the year. Byram, a good one at wideout. Bevel, McGarity, and Turlot, also your receivers as well for Homewood. Inside give, that's Strauss. And it will bring up 3rd down and short for the Patriots on their opening series. There's the defensive front for Ben Russell with Gunn and McBurney, Buchanan and Cotney, a good-looking front line. The linebackers, Spivey, Martin, Kendrick, and Rousseau. The cornerbacks, Brock and Adamson. Toll is the safety for Benjamin Russell as you get a good look at Parker Gargis. Faced with 3rd and a couple. And they'll go to Strauss. And Strauss is going to be very close to that 1st down marker. In fact, I believe he did get the 1st down as he got close to the 40-yard line. Matt McBurney, the senior defensive end, making the stop for Benjamin Russell, and I believe we will have a measurement.
Riley Strauss, this young man just plays with tremendous heart and desire. He is only 5'10", 180 pounds. He's just a junior, so he'll be back with this club next year, and he is a fun football player to watch. He gives it 150% on every play, just as he did right there. He may have dug down for that extra half a yard that they needed, and that is our first down of this ball game, to the, of course, delight of the head coach Bob Newton across the way.
55-18, and this his 5th season at the helm of the program. His assistants, Dickie Wright, David Jones, Rip Harmon, Doug Gann, and Danny Keck. Staff that's been together for quite some time. In fact, Doug Gann, a former Homewood Patriot himself, when his father, Gerald Gann, was the head coach of the Patriots, and he helped build this program. And Homewood suffering a big loss on the play. Justin Buchanan coming in to make the stop of Gargis. A big loss on first down.
Well, they read it all the way, and notice how the defensive line, they just shuffle down the field, and big old Buchanan. This is a huge defensive line as well, as they just can't pick up the block on him. The block was missed there by Aaron Hicks. Therefore, Buchanan gets in, and he makes the stop, and it's a loss, a big loss. Call it 7 or 8 on the play. It's 2nd and 18.
They'll work from the gun with 4 wideouts in formation for the Patriots. Gargis with plenty of time. His receiver fell down. He was trying to hit the man in the flat, Britt McGarity, the tight end, 6'1", 200. He was wide open underneath, but he just slipped down around the 35-yard line, and that will bring up 3rd down and 20 now for the Patriots. Bill Lazenby, the winningest coach in Benjamin Russell High School history, 41 wins during his tenure, 86 victories throughout his career. On 3rd and 20. Nowhere to go for Parker Gargis. Again, wrapped up and brought down by big Justin Buchanan. All 6 feet, 265 pounds of him, corralling Parker Gargis there.
Well, the protection broke down, and Parker really never had a chance. The offensive linemen missing their blocks. You miss assignment, and Buchanan right now, he is dominating on the defensive side. Forces the first punt of the game, and they should get pretty decent field position should Benjamin Russell.
Jeremy Schott's a pretty good punter, averaging better than 40 yards a kick. You've got to look out for this Benjamin Russell team, though. They have blocked 7 punts this year. Great return from Benjamin Russell's Brent Dye, the 5'11", 170-pounder, able to work his way back across the 40-yard line to the 43, and the Wildcats will start off 1st and 10 from there. Bo Spear making the hit for the Patriots.
You'll hear that name a lot tonight. He is the 2nd leading tackler on this Homewood team, so you'll be hearing that name quite frequently. This is the biggest offensive line you're going to see, and by no means, I mean, we're seeing some big lines, but nobody can compare with this, and I don't think we'll see that tomorrow in the 6A finals either. This offensive line averages a whopping 254 across the front.
They'll give it to the deep man on the misdirection play, and picking up 4 or 5, Demetrius Shealy, as we look at the offensive front for the Wildcats. Walters and Meade are your tackles. Harris and Kelly at the guards with Cunningham at the center slot. Their running back, Kendrick and Davis back there with Shealy, Russell, and Simmons, your wideouts and tight end. Quarterback for the Wildcats, Jordan Thomas, 6'1", 180 pounds, as Shealy goes in motion to the top of your screen. Nice second effort there on the part of Carlton Davis. As you see, the defensive line for Homewood, Newell and Brown are the ends. Turner and Hurd the guards. The linebacking core of McCauley, Spear, and Allison. And in the secondary will be Longworth and Carr at the corners. Galbraith and Sanders are the safeties.
Matt Allison, very active, number 22, the middle linebacker for Homewood. He led this team during the regular season with 133 tackles. He'll be on a bulk of them today, along with Bo Spear. Those 2 guys really head up the Homewood defense.
Single wing set. And no running room there at all on 3rd down. A nice job by Jake Galbraith. Also, Mark Longworth, number 46, leading the charge for the Patriots, and Benjamin Russell, after getting very good field position at their own 43-yard line, only able to advance it 7 yards, they will have to punt. Ricky Rhodes is the punter. There you see his average, and that is tremendous at any level, but especially in high school football. Low snap that he handles nicely, and the punt will be taken at the 12-yard line. Colt Byram looking for running room. Doesn't find any. Great pursuit. Once again, we've already seen Benjamin Russell's special teams play very well. Great matchup in 5A for the state championship. Homewood and Benjamin Russell from Legion Field. Benjamin Russell and Homewood doing battle for the 5A state championship. All part of the Super 6, live from Legion Field. Brought to you by Buffalo Rock Mountain Dew, PowerTel, Alagasco, and Jax. Along with Herb Winches, I'm Chris Stewart. John Casimus, our sideline reporter this evening, and we're glad you've joined us all throughout the state. all weekend long. All 6 state championship games brought to you live for the first time in the history of Alabama high school football. As Strauss gets the inside handoff from Gargis, stretches his way across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Another nice pickup on first down for the Patriots.
Yeah, this is what Homewood wants to do. They love to pick up 6, 7, 8 on first down. I know Coach Newton enjoys having the second and short because then you can do a lot of things. You have a lot of different options, and they certainly should take advantage of it.
They'll give it to Strauss, who picks up a couple. That will leave third and short for the Patriots. A few moments ago, we mentioned the coaching staff from Homewood High School. Benjamin Russell's staff, of course, Phil Lazenby, the head coach, his assistants, Carl Martin, Jeff Williams, Dwight Busby, Henry Hicks, J.R. Fulkerson, Kevin Smith, and Anthony Martin. A team that has posted a 13-1 record. They're ranked third in the final State Writers Association poll. Homewood coming in at number 8 on 3rd and a yard. Riley Strauss didn't get there. The Wildcats met him at the line of scrimmage. Justin Buchanan again making the first hit, and it will be 4th down for Homewood.
Well, Buchanan is off to a great start here early on this ball game. That's 3 unassisted tackles, and they're trying to double team him, and they just can't move this big mountain. They're not moving him at all. The right side of an offensive line, Botkin and Brown, they're having their troubles right now, and that's 3 straight times they ran that same play with Riley Strauss, and I think it's fair to say that Benjamin Russell has caught on to it early on.
Well, Buchanan's the strongest player in the state of Alabama, benching 460 pounds, 315 overhead. Dye letting that one roll dead inside the 40-yard line of the Wildcats. John Casimus down on the sidelines. What have you got for us?
Benjamin Russell runs a true wing tee. A true wing tee relies on 3 different plays: the sweep, the belly, and the trap. Unfortunately, they have 3 big guards, 2 that play that are 280 pounds. They can't run the sweep, so what you're going to see is a true power wing tee tonight, living inside the tackles.
John, you're right. They're going to try to keep it between those tackles. Tough to get to the outside on a very quick Homewood defense as well. On 1st and 10. They'll keep it on the inside. And only a couple of yards on the play as Jonathan Durr makes the stop for Homewood.
Good thing Jonathan was there, too, because he was going to do some serious running there. That's LaRon Towns. Nice little scat back. He's got a lot of power for a little guy. And if Durr didn't come up there and make that tackle, he was going to go for a lot of extra yardage.
Able to bounce off the initial hit by Nick Newell, the sophomore defensive back who came up and made the hit, but Towns, with good leg strength, able to fight through the initial hit. Can't get through that one, though. That play had no chance whatsoever. Will Keeney also in there. Harlequin Sanders, one of the top names you'll find in the state, number 58, also on pursuit.
Well, that's what you call getting underneath the blockers and just really causing a lot of destruction. As you see, Towns never had a chance. The ball, as a matter of fact, Sanders almost got there about the same time the football did.
Give credit to too many people. Harlequin Sanders just hit him so hard it looked like 2 or 3 folks there. But Sanders, 6'2", 240, forcing Benjamin Russell into a 3rd down situation. They'll give it once again right up the middle, and again with no success whatsoever. The Patriots able to come up with a stop. Sanders again leading the charge as Bob Newton's team playing very inspired football. Herb, it's so tough to beat a team twice in 1 year in any level of football.
Well, that's what they say. I don't think you could sell Bob Newton on that. He has really, I'm sure, worked overtime to get his team prepared, and you can see early on both of these teams, first of all, they're very disciplined, they're well coached, and I think we're in for a very, very tight football game. I don't think you're going to see a team dominate like, as I said, the first time they met back in early September, the first game of the season, even though it was 25-18, the game really wasn't that close, and Bob Newton was very upset about that, and we got our first injury here to report on.
Jake Galbraith, they're looking at his right knee, and that is not a good sign.
You don't want to lose this big guy. He is a vital cog to this Homewood defense because he's like a fire plug in there. He's hard to move out along that defensive line. He seems to be okay. He's shaking it off. Hey, it's a state championship. You got to play a little bit hurt, right?
You're exactly right. Playing hurt and playing injured, though, two different things. Looks like he was just hurt, and Galbraith, to the relief of Bob Newton, looks as though he'll be back in the ball game. But for the second time, Benjamin Russell forced to punt. The first kick from the foot of Ricky Rhodes, traveling 38 yards. Another nice high spiraling kick that Byram will field at the 15. He calls for and makes the fair catch. No score from Birmingham here in the 5A state championship from Legion Field. Glad you're with us for the Super 6 championships. They got spirit. Yes, they do. They got spirit. How about you, the Homewood High School fans, enjoying themselves here at Legion Field? Along with Herb Winches, I'm Chris Stewart. Glad you're with us tonight.
It's not that warm.
You're right. It is a beautiful but chilly evening at Legion Field as the inside handoff results in a big gain. That's Parker Gargis, but he's in at a halfback position. Bragg Knott now the quarterback, and we talked about in the pregame, Herb. That's what the Patriots love to do. They'll start off with one quarterback and then switch them, but Gargis still in the ball game.
Yeah, they'll go two possessions, and the other quarterback, Bragg Knott, the junior, gives off to his good teammate and friend, Parker Gargis. Nice move there by Parker. He's got some ability at running back, and he truly is a quarterback. This is unusual for him.
Gargis, nothing doing there as a flag comes flying in. I love that, though. If you've got two great athletes, especially in high school football, why would you take one of them off the field?
That's a good point, Chris. Well, I can tell you why Riley Strauss has over 1,300 yards.
That's right.
And I'm sure this is by design, and I'm just wondering, because Riley Strauss, this is one of the few times I have not seen him in the football game all season long for Homewood. I'm thinking he's okay, or we know something differently about that.
Well, he is on the sidelines, but just standing across the way.
Well, I'm told he's got an ankle injury. And
10-yard penalty, call the foul, replay first down.
Okay, that's why we're not seeing him, Chris. He's got a bunged up ankle right now, so that certainly is something we need to keep an eye on because he is a big, big part of their offense. So he is hurt a little bit, got hurt on that last series.
So Gargis will get time at running back as they'll go with trips to the top of your screen. But again, handed off on the inside to Gargis, and he is ridden down again just shy of the 20-yard line. Jawanski Kendrick, talk about him on the offensive side.
Right now, Benjamin Russell is really winning this early field position battle. They have kept Homewood on each drive inside the 20. We've only seen one first down as we look at this replay. Only one first down between these two clubs, and we're nearly to the end of the first quarter.
Peter Bevel and Colt Byram, the wideouts to the near side as they'll go with the option play. Gargis will throw it, and he completes it to Colt Byram. They went on the handoff to Parker Gargis, and then he threw the football, and he had to scramble before unloading it, Herb.
Byram has caught over 800 yards this season for Homewood. He, by far and away, is the favorite target of both quarterbacks, Parker Gargis as well as Bragg Knott. So a good catch there, but we've got 3rd and 11, and there's the hit after the play, and he is leveled, and that's perfectly legal, and that's sending an early message. There's some hard hitting in this game early on.
The 34 saying, hello, my name is Randy Spivey. Welcome to Legion Field. Knott looking to throw. He's got a man, but he overshoots him, trying to hook up there with Peter Bevel. And the pass falls incomplete. So Homewood will have to punt for the 3rd time.
I'm really impressed with the punter, Jeremy Schatz. He also handles all their place kicking as well as field goals. He's probably not 155 pounds soaking wet, but he's got a tremendous leg. He is a good punter, just an all-around good place kicker. He's very good with field goals, and both of these place kickers tonight, and the way this game is going, it could come down to the field goal kicking, and they're both excellent.
On 4th and 11, he bobbles the snap. Now he's going to have to unload it. It was partially blocked and caught. That's Eric Brock. and he is tripped up just inside the 10-yard line, and a big, big break for Benjamin Russell. Chris McCauley, the man that leveled the Homewood punter.
Well, he had trouble. The snap wasn't all that great, but certainly one that Jeremy should have been able to handle. I don't know, maybe I jinxed him. I was just bragging about his punting ability, and there's what you call being in the right place at the right time, and Brock gets it and almost takes it in for a score. Once again, we have seen throughout these playoffs, special teams, kicking in particular, has made a lot of difference in these state playoffs.
Correct myself, it was Shondell Rousseau, the man that actually clocked Jeremy Schatz, the kicker, and he is being attended to on the sidelines.
Yeah, Jeremy took a hard hit, and they need him. It looks like they're looking at his knee across the way. You can see he is really limping off, and he is struggling mightily with that leg, and they're going to need his leg, and they're going to need the leg also, and we're told that actually Riley Strauss was hurt a week ago, and they're just now letting that secret out.
I don't think I'd give up that secret either, but we've got a flag on the play. And it looks like this will be against Homewood as well. It's already 2nd and goal. They'll call offsides on the Patriots, lining up offsides. And Phil Lazenby's team knocking on the door of the Patriots with just 54 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Bob Newton's team trying to keep this a scoreless game in the 5A state title matchup.
Go. It's still 2nd down.
Well, you hate a mistake, as Homewood has committed a big mistake, and then you've got to hate the fact that you're helping them. You've moved them inside the 5 now, half the distance to the goal line, and now, right now, Homewood is making it even easier for Benjamin Russell.
Inside give. Again, very little running room. Homewood's defense on the season allowing an average of just over 11 points per game.
Bo Spear, number 48. He's really the heart and soul, along with Matt Allison, of this Homewood defense. Look at all those white shirts. That's what it takes if you're going to keep them out of the goal, or from getting over the goal line. With 19 seconds to go in the first quarter, I'll tell you, a hold here on 3rd down would be mighty big.
Kendrick, touchdown. Could not have been easier. As Jawanski Kendrick, on the quick hitter, waltzes into the end zone from 2 yards out, and Benjamin Russell is on the scoreboard first.
And all because of the miscue by the Homewood kicking team. Gave him great field position inside the 10. Jawanski, he knows how to find the end zone. He's done it many, many times this year for this Benjamin Russell team.
Brent Dye on to try the extra point. The left-footed kicker boots it through. And Benjamin Russell on the scoreboard first with just 3 seconds remaining here in the opening quarter of play. The Wildcats, the 7-0 advantage over the Homewood Patriots. The quick start, a good start.
Well, the left side of that offensive line for Benjamin Russell, they're opening some big holes. You talked about Harris and Cunningham. Let's take another look at it. As you see, he goes, well, he started to go left, and he comes back over the right side, where there's even more beef. You got Thomas Kelly, Jeremy Mead, one 290, the other 301. I think I'd go to the right side, too.
I think you would. You don't have to ask where's the beef on that side of the offensive front for Benjamin Russell as the Wildcats get on the scoreboard first. There you see the scoring drive. They didn't have to go very far. Homewood looking a little bit dejected. Bob Newton's team does not want to fall for a 3rd straight time to the Wildcats for Benjamin Russell. It was Russell that ended Homewood's season last year in the 6A playoffs, trying to end the 2000 campaign as well in the championship matchup.
Well, any coach will tell you you hate to give up points, but you really hate to give up when you've got only giving up the short field of eight yards to go. And that's just not a lot of work for any team to have to accomplish. And Benjamin Russell, with their running game, you don't want to let them have to go 8 yards to score on.
On the opening kickoff, Dye with a pooch kick. He'll go a little bit deeper with this one, and a fair catch called for and made by Homewood's Jared Simpson. And And still, if you're Benjamin Russell, that does the job. You force them to call for the fair catch and pin the Patriots inside their own 20 as Bob Newton paces the sidelines for Homewood. As we mentioned earlier, both he and Phil Lazenby, teammates in college. They were a part of a Division II championship when they played in the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl back in 1971 in Phoenix City, Alabama.
And you saw that picture there of Bob Newton. How would you like to have to work for your wife? He does. Dr. Jody Newton is the superintendent of the Homewood school system. He works for his wife, literally.
And I understand that Jody Newton and Phil Lazenby were friends back in high school as well. So a lot of connections, but it's all about winning right now as the first quarter comes to a close on a first down pickup for Riley Strauss. Back in the game for Homewood, but his Patriots trail Benjamin Russell by 7 in the 5A state title game. Back at Legion Field, the Star Spangled Girls, part of the marching band at Homewood. And I don't know, but that young lady on the back right, I bet her parents are proud of her.
You got that right. I'm going to put a big circle on the telestrator there because that's one of the best offensive plays I've ever made. That is my daughter, Amy, who is a Star Spangled. That's her mom, and she's up here in the booth. And Rex Shannon here doing a great job. Lance at the other end, and the Star Spangled.
And I tell you what, you're a lot like Dennis Franchione. You know how to recruit as well, don't you?
That was one of the great lines, wasn't it, last Monday when he was introduced at Alabama.
5A state championship, quarter number 2 underway. Homewood with possession as Bragg Knight will swing it out to Byron, trying to give him the football in the open field. He picked up a couple, but brought down very quickly. Shondell Rousseau there, also Tyrone Martin there to make the hit for Benjamin Russell.
Shondell's been very busy. He's a very active linebacker. He's got tremendous speed, and he's showing it, and he is really off to a terrific start.
2nd down and 9 upcoming for the Patriots. They'll send 4 wideouts in formation. Not working from the gun. Gives it on the inside handoff to Riley Strauss. 3rd down coming up. John Casimus, what have you got for us?
Guys, I'm here with Phil Gargis, quarterback, Parker Gargis' father, who quarterbacked in 1973 Colbert County to a state championship, who was teammates with Ozzie Newsome, an NFL Hall of Famer. Speaking with Parker yesterday, he talked about football was a family thing with the Gargises. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do as a family that makes them better on Friday nights.
Well, we just, you know, my older son's at Auburn now. They've moved him to defensive back. So, you know, it's just been a thing that they enjoy doing, and they come home asking me to go throw with them or go watch films or tapes or whatever. So it's, you know, it's something that they enjoy doing, and that's what you got to do.
What impact have you had as him watching you play as a player in the 70s? Does he do that and try to mimic what you've done?
Well, we had a little bit of highlight tape. We didn't have much with a reel-to-reel back then, but we have a little highlight tape, and they've watched that, and I think it's kind of inspired them to come on and try to do their best, but they do a good job on their own. They love the game.
Well, I hope he can add another state championship to the family mantle. Back upstairs to you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. As you take a look at Parker Gargis, now in to handle the punting chores after Benjamin Russell comes up with the 3rd down stop.
Regular punter Jeremy Schatz was hurt that last series.
Exactly right. That's why we're seeing for the first time a low line kick. And will be returned across the 35 to the 36-yard line by Brent Dye. He is the place kicker for Benjamin Russell and also handles the returns. Taylor Barker making the stop for the Homewood Patriots. And I tell you what, when you get to a championship game, you've got your top running back limping around with a bad ankle. You've got your punter and place kicker on the bench with a banged-up knee, and you're down 7-0. It doesn't look really good for the local team, Homewood, right now.
Well, you're talking about points. That's what both of those players represent for Homewood, and that's points.
Jordan Thomas, quarterback for the Wildcats, will go with play action and dump it out to the running back who just keeps rumbling his way forward. Jawanski Kendrick able to pick up the 1st down. Herb, they hit him at about the line of scrimmage, but he just kept shaking off tacklers and picked up the 1st down.
Jawanski is a big guy, and when he gets that football, he knows what to do with it. A very, very hard runner. You see, this is just a simple out pattern here. It's almost like a flare coming out of the backfield, and he shakes off one tackler, and moves right on down the field, and it takes a couple of Homewood Patriots to get him out of bounds, but not before he picks up another first down.
The Wildcats lead by 7, but that is their first down of the game. That's because they gained possession inside the 10 on their scoring drive, and on first down, they're able to pick up a couple of yards right at midfield now for the Wildcats, taking on Homewood High School. Homewood, as we mentioned earlier, 2 state championships in their history, 1974 and 1995. That man's first season at the helm of the Patriot program after a number of years as an assistant coach there. But Bob Newton able to win that championship in 1995. Benjamin Russell has been here in the title game before, but still looking for their first state championship. The inside handoff to LaRon Towns results in a yard at the most, and another 3rd and long situation upcoming for Benjamin Russell.
Russell's a team that primarily relies on the run, and they've got 3 quality running backs. Carlton Davis, you get a bunch of him, you get a lot of Jawan Kendricks, and now you're getting a good dose here of number 4, LaRon Towns. And as we said at the top of the show, LaRon actually is the leading rusher on this football team, as you see him there lining up in the backfield, but he does not start. He comes in off the bench.
3rd and 8. Straight drop back from Thomas. They try to set up the screen across the middle, and it is over the head of the intended receiver, LaRon Towns, and fortunate for the Wildcats that it simply fell incomplete. There were a lot of white helmets in the area.
Homewood's defense, they bid on it, though. That's when the offensive line, of course, just pretends, and they've got a very soft blocking, and they allow the defense to get the hard rush, and then they sucker them in, and then you've got what is known as a middle screen across the middle. And we got a penalty on the play.
Oh, and that could be a big one here.
It is.
Bob Newton wanting an explanation as they'll talk things over. Benjamin Russell's Thomas Kelly, one of the offensive captains.
It was to be a 3rd and 8 situation. That obviously is going to change big time. As a matter of fact, that's going to give them a first down.
We have holding on the defense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Butch Herb is our referee, so just to keep it simple, if you got any complaints, blame it on Herb.
They usually do.
1st and 10.
Put him in, Chris.
Working his way to the 36-yard line, Benjamin Russell's Carlton Davis, stopped by Paul Mercard. We'll look back at that previous play and see if we can pick up the hold.
Yeah, it looks like to me that that could be the hold, but I'm not so sure. It looks like to me he was being double-teamed downfield. That could have gone either way, but I believe they made the call on Chris Turner after all, so that perhaps could have gone either way, but
that's the case. That's a tough break for 21. They'll throw it, and the ball was tipped. Deflected by Homewood's Chris McCauley, the senior linebacker, 6 feet, 195, able to get a paw on it.
You know, we talk so many times, Chris, about a couple of plays determining, we mean big plays in a football game, or mistakes. In this case, Homewood, the mistake with the block punt, well, partially blocked anyway, which led to the first score of this game. And then you saw there, they would have had a 3rd and long, a holding call. It gives them an automatic first down, and it keeps the drive alive. These are mistakes that are very costly when you're trying to win a state championship.
3rd down and 7 again for Benjamin Russell. They got bailed out by a penalty on their last 3rd down situation. Davis not finding any running room, but another flag on the play coming in as Spear and Carr combined on the stop. Holding this time against the Benjamin Russell Wildcats.
I would assume Homewood would decline this because it'll bring up 4th down, and I can't imagine where the ball is that Benjamin Russell would go for it on 4th down, so more than likely a decline.
We have holding on the defense. Declined.
No.
4th down.
He just pointed the wrong direction. That was
Like you say,
by the official. Blame it on her.
blame it on Herb. In this case, Butch Herb.
On the field or in the booth. Blame it on her. 4th down and 9. With 8:15 to go here in the second quarter. That man's team, Phil Lazenby. Benjamin Russell Wildcats. Leading by 7, but forced to punt. Richie Rhodes handling those duties. 3rd kick upcoming. You see his numbers thus far on the evening. Colt Byram standing on his own 10-yard line awaiting the punt. Very little pressure. He really did. This is a cannon shot into the wind, actually. And Homewood will have it 1st and 10 when we come back. You're watching the Super 6 live from Legion Field. Well, you better have your chin straps on very tightly against the Benjamin Russell team, Herb, that has come out swinging.
Well, they're a big team on both sides of the football, and they do like to hit, as they're proving here in this first half of play. Let me point out, as Homewood goes back on yet another offensive possession, this is their 5th possession of the first half. They have yet to start outside the 20-yard line, their own 20. You can't do the things you normally want to do, and now here's another mental mistake by Homewood. It's going to back them up 5. But, Chris, when you're this deep in your own territory, it really limits what you can do offensively.
It really does, and now you'll step it back even further. The illegal procedure call against the Patriots.
It's a big weekend here in Birmingham with the Super 6. You got the Arby's Hardwood Classic tomorrow night, and then Armageddon. It's the live pay-per-view.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
That's the WWF, all the superstars in Birmingham, broadcast internationally around the world for good tickets. They still got some great ones available for you. All you got to do is call Ticketmaster here in Birmingham, 715-6000. That's 715-6000, and we hope to see you there Sunday night.
Now working from the gun, 1st and 15. They'll give it to Strauss, and he spins his way near the 10-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. But now 2nd and 10 upcoming, at least a little bit of breathing room for the Homewood Patriots. I would love to say something. I'm just not really sure what to come up with.
You don't have to say anything.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, the picture's worth 1,000 words. There's a perfect example.
From the gun, once again, Parker Gargis with 3 wideouts in formation. Faking it to Strauss this time, and keeping it himself is Gargis. He's got the 1st down. He's across the 25 to the 26-yard line. A great fake to Strauss, and then Gargis kept it himself and able to pick up the 1st down for the Patriots.
Well, this is the bread and butter of this Homewood offense. That one-back offense, the fake, and Parker Gargis, he really got a lot of that yardage on just his own individual effort. Now they finally, Homewood's got a little bit of operating room, but this is a very, very stingy and tough Benjamin Russell defense.
They'll send trips to the near side, just beyond the view there. On 1st and 10. Strauss this time wrapped up by Justin Buchanan. And you can forget about going anywhere when he's got you in his grasp. It's a lot like a bear, I guess. You better outrun him, because if he catches you, you're done.
Strongest man in the state. He slows him down. He allows the rest of the defense to catch up. And this defense, they're awfully, awfully tough. Very salty, as we say.
Byram and Bevel, the wideouts to the near side. There's Gargis will keep it himself. Finding running room to about the 34-yard line, but it will be 3rd down and about 4 upcoming for the Patriots, who trail Benjamin Russell by a score of 7-0 in this, the Class 5A state championship game.
Very simple play. Parker Gargis, the fake. He takes it over the left side. Great blocking up front by the left side of that offensive line. Let's give some credit there to Andrew Reed, to Adam Mathis, doing a very nice job up front.
They'll talk things over on the sidelines with 6 minutes exactly left to go in quarter number 2. Benjamin Russell trying to come up with another stop. We'll see if they can when we return to the Super 6 live from Legion Field after this. Along with Herb Winches, I'm Chris Stewart, back with you at Birmingham's Legion Field. The Class 5A state championship on the line. They got the game face on. They got the war paint going, doing battle for the 5A championship. 3rd and 1 upcoming for the Patriots. Parker Gargis, the quarterback, working from the shotgun. He'll fake the give to Strauss and then carry it himself, stretching across the first down mark for another Homewood first down. That will be their 5th.
5th first down of the game, and interesting, 3rd and 1. And they stay in the shotgun, and this is their bread and butter. They fake it again. You would think that the defense could catch on to it because basically this has been the bulk of their offense through this first half. Homewood is hanging tough, and that Benjamin Russell defense, they're awfully salty as well.
Jake Collins is the senior wideout to the top of your screen. Gargis will look to throw to the near side. He unloads it, and it is broken up nicely. The hit leveled by Shondell Rousseau, as the intended receiver was Colt Byram, but Rousseau able to get in there. We've called his name several times already in the first half, Herb.
Yeah, he's awfully quick, and he covers a lot of ground. Sidelines to sidelines. Probably the fastest linebacker they've got on that team.
Now 2nd and 10 for the Patriots. 12 and 2 on the year. They were ranked 8th in the final Alabama Sports Writers poll. Byram in motion to the bottom of your screen. Gargis flinging it out near side. That's Collins. And he did make the catch. They'll give him 6, maybe 7 on the play. 3rd and about 4 upcoming for the Patriots.
Homewood has decided to try to get him away from some of the pressure. Gargis this time, as you see, he comes this way, he's running with it, and that enables him to, buy a little bit more time, and he finds his receiver Collins and picks up a nice gain, so it's 3rd and call it about 4.
5 first downs already for the Patriots. Just 2 for Benjamin Russell, but the Wildcats lead on the scoreboard. Gargis looking to throw. Still looking. Finds the first down marker and picks up the first down. He had an option there, Herb. Jake Collins broke his route and started to streak down the sidelines, but the experienced quarterback, Parker Gargis, knew the first down was most important, found that marker, and moved the chains.
Well, it looked for a while he had even more real estate than that, and that tough Maroon defense of the Wildcats, they really closed in a hurry.
It's a good sign for Homewood that Justin Buchanan is huffing and puffing. He's able to, or having to run around a good bit right now and chase those Patriot runners such as that man, Gargis, who moves it across the 40 to the 37-yard line of Benjamin Russell. Another first down, a gain of a dozen on the play for the Patriots.
Well, Homewood is winning that battle on the ground right now. This will add up to 114 yards, and many of these yards are being handled by this young man right here, Parker Gargis. So 114 yards to Benjamin Russell's 30, but that one mistake by Homewood got him in a hole. 7-0, Benjamin Russell.
Strauss to the 34-yard line. John Casimus down on the sideline. What have you got for us, John?
This Homewood offense is very similar to Tommy Bowden's offense at Clemson. What makes it so successful is the quarterback is not accounted for when you have 4 wide receivers. So what they're doing is running a small little counter play in there in a little trap and pulling a tackle, and he's able to have a lot of success because they're watching out for the pass, and therefore he's running a lot of yards.
You're right, John. Spreading the field, causing Benjamin Russell to have a lot of that real estate to cover, Herb.
Yeah, and that's what Tommy Bowden has done so well at Clemson, and this entire coaching staff went up there this summer and spent a couple of days there at Clemson.
Good pass from Parker Gargis, but in and out of the hands of Jake Collins. Couldn't come up with it as Eric Brock was there to make a hit.
Take another look at it here. One-on-one coverage. Collins, this is just a quick in, and it looks like it was a timing pattern, and it looked like he turned a little bit late on it. Therefore, could not complete the pass. There's your total yards.
Yeah, it has been dominated by Homewood, but nothing to show for it as of yet. With 3 wideouts in formation, they'll throw back to the far side and hook up with a tight end. He only had 1 man he had to beat, but a great open field tackle made by Benjamin Russell's Brent Dye. 5'11", 170, able to bring down big number 89, Britt McGarity, 6'1", 200 pounds.
Well, before this game started, Phil Lazenby listed for us the things they had to do as far as keys to victory. One thing he said, we've got to stay at home. Guess what? Brent Dye stayed at home, and that's why that play went for nothing.
Boy, McGarity had nothing but the sideline and an escort if he'd been able to shake free from one man. But instead, 4th down upcoming, and Homewood will talk things over. Want to take a moment to tell you about the fact that accommodations for our production staff are provided by the Redmont Crown Plaza, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Birmingham for the savvy traveler. Birmingham's oldest hotel is now its newest. Experience the flavor of Grill 521 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You know, this drive started back inside the 20. It's now gone 12 plays, 54 yards, and they have taken nearly 7 minutes, close to 8 minutes actually, off the clock. So this has been a long drive for Homewood, but once again, you know, you need to get some points on the board, and I'm sure this is what Bob Newton and his offensive coordinator, David Jones, they're discussing this very thing. Do they want to take a chance here and go for it 4th down? If they don't convert here, they are really going to give up some excellent field position to Benjamin Russell.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 8. With 4 wideouts in formation, that's Byram coming to the bottom of your screen. Gargis with time. That time is running out. He is corralled. Corey Davis, the 6'2", 215-pound senior defensive end, bringing Gargis down back at the 46-yard line, and Homewood will turn it over on downs.
Well, we keep complimenting this Benjamin Russell defense, and with good reason. They weren't going to have anything to do with it because they were expecting pass, simply because it was a 4th and 8. They knew Homewood was going to have to throw the football, and they played it real smart. Now Homewood gives up excellent field position. Let's see if Benjamin Russell can convert this into some points before halftime with 2:52 to go here in the second quarter.
Huge play by Davis. He fought off 2 blockers before he got to Gargis. On the handoff around right end, he never got there. Tried to go with Demetrius Shealy, but Chris McCauley there to make the big hit for Homewood. 2nd or 3rd time we've talked about that young man tonight.
Senior linebacker. He's been a starter for a couple of years, and he knows what hitting is all about. Big play there by McCauley.
4th on the team in tackles with 96 this year coming in. Also 4 quarterback sacks. The 2-yard loss, setting up 2nd and 12. On play action, Thomas looking to throw. He's got a man there, and it is juggled and falls incomplete. I believe everybody on this side of the hash marks touched the football that time, Herb, but nobody could bring it in.
Well, let's take another look at it. This was one of those wounded ducks, like a punt we saw earlier. He really didn't get a good arm on this one, did Thomas? See the wobbly pass, but nearly coming up with the play, and that would have been a huge one on both sides. Chris Turner nearly came away with the interception for the Homewood Patriots. So it's one of those, I got it, you got it, I can't take it.
Brandon Brown had the first shot at it, and you're right, Turner on the back end couldn't make the play. 3rd and 12. And we've got a flag before the snap. LaRon Towns very thankful that that play was whistled dead, although illegal procedure is the call against the Wildcats. Let's go back and look at the previous play. And as we said, a lot of people got their hands on it, but nobody could bring it home.
A lot of juggling there. Carlton Davis certainly had a shot at it here. Then you're going to see Chris Turner come in at the very last second and nearly scoop it up, but it falls harmlessly to the ground.
Tells you something about the kind of speed he has, doesn't it? If he can make a hit in the backfield on one play and then is on the other end of a long pass play, the very next can change. All the way back to the 38. It's 3rd and 18 now. On the draw. Big hit level. Guess who? Chris McCauley again on the pop of Carlton Davis, and it will be 4th down, and Homewood will use a timeout, stopping the clock with $1:53 to go. Let's listen to this hit. 2 big hits. He hit him, and then he hit the ground. A 1-2 punch.
We've seen a lot of big hits here in this first half. These are 2 well-coached, really disciplined football teams. They play terrific on both sides of the football. Homewood made the right call there with 1:53 to go. Go ahead and take a timeout. You're going to get the football, and maybe you can make something happen here before the half comes to a close.
So glad you've joined us for the Super 6 Championships from Birmingham's Legion Field. We're brought to you by Buffalo Rock Mountain Dew, PowerTel, Allegasco, and Jax. And we're so thankful to all of our affiliates across the state for making these games available live for the first time in the history of Alabama high school football. Our flagship, Birmingham's UPN 68. It's UPN 44 in Mobile, and Huntsville UPN 15. Folks watching us on AT&T Cable in Montgomery, glad you picked us up, along with the Comcast cable viewers, Channel 4 in Dothan. And again, our flagship, UPN 68. So glad we've been able to be a part of history as we've been able to bring you these games live all throughout Alabama for the first time ever. Number 84 to kick it to another number 84. Benjamin Russell's Ricky Rhodes on the punting end. Colt Byram awaiting the kick. Towering shot that will hit at the 5 and roll into the end zone. Wow. I know the football traveled at least 60 yards in the air, Herb.
58 is the net they're going to give him. That's 2 huge punts we've had out of this young man, and that can be a great weapon for a football team. That's when we talk about the importance of the kicking game. There is a perfect example as he launched another boomer, and that goes 58 yards. So Homewood once again has to start right on their 20-yard line. I want to thank the guys in the truck and everybody associated with this broadcast. Some great camera work. And Chris, everywhere I've been the last day, folks have been talking, and it's been a buzz about the coverage here of the State Super 6.
Crew is so good they almost, and I stress almost, have made us look good. No, they're still not that good, are they?
Well, as long as they don't have to look at us, we're okay.
You're right. Holding against Homewood, and they didn't have to agree with us so quickly in the truck, as we'll take a look at the play again. Strauss able to pick up a couple, but they got a hold against the Patriots that will bring it back.
Down the left side of the line, Andy Reid, Adam
We're
Mathis.
holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
And I think a lot of that is out of frustration, in particular the big guy Buchanan, whom they've had a time with. He has really dealt them fits along that defensive front for Benjamin Russell. So now they're even further back. Smart thing is here, just try to get to halftime before you do something else wrong.
Back it up to the 12. It's 1st and 18 from there as Gargis is tripped up. Another nice play defensively made by Benjamin Russell's Matt McBurney, the senior, 6'2", 255, able to get an ankle and trip up Gargis as the clock ticks near the 1-minute mark of quarter number 2.
Well, Benjamin Russell has 2 timeouts left, and if they hold him here, you would think they'll probably take one of their timeouts.
Gargis to Collins, who slides out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. That will bring up 3rd down and 10.
Now, this really works in the favor of Benjamin Russell because when Collins catches this pass, he is going to step out of bounds. Now, I know that was his intention, but once again, Homewood still has a full 10 yards to go to pick up the first down. If they don't, they've really helped out this Benjamin Russell team.
Collins joined by Bevel and Byram to the top of your screen. That's the direction they'll throw it. Collins again on the receiving end. Again, smart enough to get out of bounds, stopping the clock after the first down catch with 52 seconds to go before the break.
Now they've got some operating room. This time Gargis goes to the left side, and he goes right back to Jake Collins. Collins caught it on the right side. He said, I'll try the other side. It works for a first down. 52 seconds. You've got 1 timeout. You got some operating room. Now you go into your 2-minute offense.
You wonder, though, about the availability of your place kicker if you're Homewood. Shots injured on his first punt of the game as he tries to come to the near side and hook up with Collins again, but this time a little bit underthrown by Parker Gargis.
I've noticed that most of Homewood's passes have really been just square outs or a lot of outside of the boundaries. We've seen them very seldom go vertical here tonight at all.
side handoff. That's Strauss. He's got running room. Across the 45 to the 47-yard line. I love that call. After he broke one tackle, Riley Strauss able to push it across to the 46-yard line. The clock stops while they move the chains.
Look at this replay right here, because he's going to get actually hit behind the line, and it should have been a loss on the play. He shakes off a tackler, and then he runs right down the field. Another big first down.
Gargis trying to buy some time. Runs out of money as he is put down. First man there, like it was Matt Cotney. Also Marquise Gunn, number 45 there.
Nearly fumbles the ball on the snap there, but he regains control, and then he's hit by the defensive Benjamin Russell, and now with just 20 seconds to go, Homewood, I would think, you don't want to commit a mistake in this part of the ball game, because you're still very much in this. As you see David Jones there, the longtime offensive coordinator, and we mentioned earlier, I think you talked about Doug Gann, and let's talk about David Jones. He's been there a long time.
The new and the old, so to speak, but not real old. David Jones, we were talking a little bit earlier, Herb, a member of Alvin Bressler's staff when the Patriots won the 1974 state championship, and just to his right is Doug Gann, who is in his first year as an assistant coach at his alma mater. He was a great quarterback here for his father, Gerald Gann, part of so many great teams for the Patriots. They were in the state title game a number of times. He's a proud papa, too. A new one, only a few weeks old.
Just like
what
you.
I understand, that's right. In fact, we went through the same childbirth classes. I didn't learn a thing. I screamed through the whole experience. On the short drop, Gargis looking, now running. And he will be brought down in Benjamin Russell territory with just 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Clock still moving. Homewood out of timeouts, trying to stop the clock. See if they can get it done. They cannot. The clock hits 0 in a frustrating first half. That pretty much sums things up for Homewood. The Patriots have been able to put 148 yards of total offense together to just 31 for Benjamin Russell. But the Patriots trail the Wildcats 7-0 at the break.
It all came on one big play, and that is the partial block of Jeremy Schatz. And then from there, they only had an 8-yard drive. That's all they needed, and that is our lone score here, 7-0. Let's go to former Alabama running back John Casimus, and he has got the coach.
Coach Lasman, you go into halftime with a 7-point lead. Defense is playing exceptionally well. Offensively, it appears you guys seem to be struggling a bit.
We're playing very poorly on offense. We've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
Is it a fact of just whipping you in the line of scrimmage? Mistakes?
We're just missing blocks. We're not blocked. We're missing assignments and missing blocks, and we've got to correct that.
What do you got to do to come out and assure this victory?
We got to put some points on the board with our offense.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Back upstairs to you guys.
Johnny kept it very simple. Got to put more points on the board. But they've got 7. Homewood scoreless here at the half at the Super 6 in Birmingham. Welcome into the Allegasco halftime report at Legion Field in Birmingham. The Class 5A state championship, 24 minutes old. Benjamin Russell being dominated in the stats, but leading where it counts most on the scoreboard. Last score of 7-0. I'm Chris Stewart along with Herb Winches, John Casimus, our sideline reporter this evening. The Patriots having a miscue in their special teams, allowing Benjamin Russell to have possession on their own 8-yard line. It took them 3 plays to get into the end zone, and that gave them their current 7-0 lead. There you see one of the top bands in the entire nation, the Homewood High School Patriots marching band. Let's listen in. Welcome back to the Allegasco Halftime Report. At Legion Field in Birmingham, the Class 5A championship game, Benjamin Russell leading the Patriots of Homewood by a score of 7-0. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Chris Stewart, joined now by Ken Blankenship, the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Coaches and Athletic Directors Association. I know a busy year, a great season for football, and what a way, Coach, to wrap it up with 6 title games all at one site in Birmingham.
It's been just fantastic. It's great to see all these student athletes out here. And what's been amazing to me, the support that we receive from these communities throughout the state of Alabama. The crowd from Fayette County last night was fantastic. We think it's one of the grand things that's happening for high school athletics in the state of Alabama. And the fact that we got it all on TV just is kind of the crown jewel to the whole package.
Coach, as far as high school football is concerned in this state, you've got 3 real marquee events. Certainly the Super 6 championships. The North-South All-Star game is big, but also that battle with Mississippi every year, the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and we're getting a preview of one of the head coaches, Phil Lasby from Benjamin Russell, will head up the Alabama team this year.
Coach Lasby has been selected to represent the state of Alabama as the head coach. He'll do a fantastic job. He's a longtime coach in the state. And a graduate, I think, of Samford University here in Birmingham. He and Coach Newton, I think they were teammates at Samford. They kind of epitomize what high school coaches in the state of Alabama, what it's all about. These are the people really that lead about 100,000 of our student athletes and do a fantastic job. We had a coaching clinic over in Civic Center today where and Coach Bowden from Clemson was pointing out the importance of the high school coaches in working with the youth of our state. Probably have as much influence as any group that are exposed to our kids.
They have a great impact on those student athletes. And one of those programs that allows the state to take a look and reward some of those great student athletes is the Bryant Jordan Scholar Athlete Program, a scholarship program that has given so much money to high school seniors over the course of the years.
Yes, as you know, I serve as executive director of that program. I'm very proud. I've been involved with it all 15 years it's been in existence. It is sponsored by the Alabama High School Athletics Association jointly with the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame here in Birmingham. We award student athletes in the state of Alabama over $400,000 each year in scholarships. It is truly 96 of Alabama's finest student athletes. I'm, of course, very proud of that program. We've been very fortunate to have a local businessman in the state of Alabama, Mr. Larry D. Stripling from Birmingham here, that's been the chairman of that program since it was founded. And he's been very instrumental in helping us raise and create a trust fund of in excess of $5 million, which we'll be sure that program will be funded for many, many years now.
Ken, congratulations on the success with the Bryant Jordan Scholar Athlete Program and the high school football season as well.
Thank you so much, and thanks to you and your crew that are doing a fantastic job with the telecast.
Thanks, sir. We've had a lot of fun with it. Ken Blankenship, the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Coaches and Athletic Directors Association, joining us at halftime. As we roll to a break, we're going to let you enjoy the great entertainment from the Benjamin Russell High School Marching Band. Nothing our score at the half. Benjamin Russell able to hang on and lead against Homewood. I say hang on, Herb Winches, because they have been outrushed. They've been outthrown. they have not been outscored in this game.
Well, that just goes to show you that old saying in football that stats are for losers.
Yeah.
And right now, Homewood is on the losing end of the scoreboard, and they've really played well offensively. But that one mistake, that critical mistake with the partial block punt, and then, of course, it gave Benjamin Russell the short field, Chris. They only had to go 8 yards. They got it done with their big running back, and that's it. That's the only scoring, and a lot of hard hitting in the first half. But that's what you'd expect among the bigger schools. They're both really getting after it, and I like that.
Not only was that partial block of the punt a deadly play for the football team as far as the score is concerned, because it set up that 8-yard scoring run, you also lost your punter if you're Homewood Schatz, who handles place kicking as well. That could be huge late in this ball game.
Yeah, and we'll see if that will play a big part here in the second half. They're going to miss his foot because he is an outstanding field goal kicker, and so is the other kid, Brent Dye, for Benjamin Russell. And it could very well, the way this game's being played, it could come down to the foot of either one of those young men. But we'll get an update from John Cassimus, I'm sure, to find out Jeremy's situation coming up in the second half. Let's take a look at some highlights.
That's right. There were quite a few, despite just a 7-0 score. As you said, a lot of hard hitting, but the first score coming on the touchdown run.
That's their big back, Kendricks, gets the only score of the game. We mentioned hard hitting. A lot of it.
Both sides giving out their fair share of licks in the opening half of play. And as we look at the stats, you see Homewood outscored, but they've had 105 rushing yards to just 18 for Benjamin Russell, and they've also been able to mix in the pass.
Well, they have just dominated 43-13, 148 total to just 31, and they've had 5 penalties, a couple of those very costly, but did not result in what you would call turnover or penalty points. No turnovers for either team, if you want to call that partial deflection. Some will say a coach's mind that was a little bit of a turnover. Time of possession, Homewood has dominated there, but the important stat is that number on the scoreboard, and they trail by a score of 7-0. I'll ask you, Mr. Play-by-Play, what do you think Homewood has to do to get back in the game, and then what does Benjamin Russell have to do to stay on top?
I'll switch sides with you. I'll play analyst for a minute. I really think they've got to just keep doing what they've been doing offensively. Just make sure you're able to execute and move the football all the way to the end zone. They've been able to put up 148 yards, take better care of the football, and just go ahead and score some points, and I think they'll be able to get it done.
Well, we saw some points scored in that first game by Clay County as they won their state championship, the 4th. And we're going to take a look at some highlights for those of you that didn't join us for the first game today. This was the Class 2A championship. This is Pisgah Red. They had a tough afternoon, although they got off to a great start, Chris, 7-0.
Took the first kick and drove it right down the field on Clay County, but that was about all they were able to do as the Panthers were able to move their way down the field and pick up that impressive win over the Eagles at Pisgah High School. They did it offensively, defensively, and here with special teams as well. The Panthers picking up their 4th state title, their first since 1996.
And quarterback Chad Gibbons, you see him right there. He had a big afternoon, well over 100 yards rushing. He was named the most valuable player. Well, it's 3 down and a half of another one and 2 to go tomorrow. Let's look at all the scores.
Hazelwood picking up the 1A crown yesterday in a great ball game against Reeltown. That T.R. Miller Fayette County game won by the Tigers of T.R. Miller, much closer than that final score would indicate.
It certainly was, and now we're waiting on the final here in 5A, and then tomorrow we'll cap it off with 3A and 6A. And Chris, I'm glad we got a seat here in the press box tomorrow. I can't wait to see Hoover and Daphne. Now, once again, we're expecting Hoover. They love, like Homewood, to put it in the air, and then you look at Daphne, a team that they prefer to be on the ground. Very similar to this 5A matchup, but that should be one well of a game, and we hope we're saving the best for last tomorrow in Class 6A.
A lot of fireworks in that matchup. The 3A game first, followed by 6A. Those games starting at noon and 3:30 respectively. We hope that you'll join us for those. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got a second half in the 5A matchup upcoming. John Cassimus down on the sidelines with Homewood's Bob Newton.
Coach, you're down 7 points. Coming into your defense played great.
They sure did.
What about offensively? You seem to be just one little click away from just getting the ball down the red zone and trying to get some points.
We were close there. We had some holding penalties and had a few mistakes, so we were close, but their defense is pretty tough, but we just need to put something together here.
What'd you tell your guys during halftime?
To keep working and have a good half this half, and let's go ahead and win this thing.
What is it going to take first drive to come out and do to try to get some points on the board?
Hopefully we can stop them first and then get good field position. We hadn't had very good field position.
You've been doing that all night, stopping them. What's the status of your punter and your place kicker?
if we can find out on this kickoff right here.
Hey,
He's going.
good. Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Back upstairs to you guys.
Thanks a lot, John. Jeremy Schatz, the senior, 5'8", 145. Bob Newton says, well, we'll find out his status. They're going to let him try to limp out there and start this game with a kickoff. You know, we saw it in the opening game of the Super 6 series yesterday. Patrick Billings, the quarterback, linebacker, and kicker for Hazelwood, came in with a torn or a sprained MCL. Only played about 6 or 7 snaps, Herb, but still was able to kick a 33-yard field goal with his bad leg. So maybe Schatz can do the same thing for Homewood.
Well, they really need this young man, Chris. You're right, and hopefully he'll be okay here. We're going to find out, as Coach Newton just said. Might as well test him early. We'll keep a close eye on him. As a matter of fact, we've got one of our cameras trained on that leg to see how gimpy he really is. Looked pretty good right there.
The Squibber fielded at the 10. Getting across the 20 to the 24-yard line was Benjamin Russell's Tremaine Marbury, the 5'8 junior, giving the Wildcats pretty good field position. 1st and 10 from their own 24 as we start the third quarter of action. There you see the numbers from Jordan Thomas. 1 of 3 throwing the football.
As Coach Newton so astutely pointed out there to John, says they've got to get better field position, and we harped on that in the entire first half. I think Homewood wound up with like 6 possessions, none of them outside their own 20.
The give to LaRon Towns. He stretches across the 25 to just shy of the 26-yard line. Phil Lazenby looking on, as we told you earlier, the winningest coach in school history at Benjamin Russell. 41-11 during his tenure there, a career mark of 86-35. He brought this team to the state championship just a couple of years ago, and they try to win a state title for the first time in school history tonight.
Came into this game ranked number 3 in the state in Class 5A.
Thomas giving it to Kendrick. Chris McCauley again there to make the stop. Called his name on a handful of occasions in the opening half of play. Jordan Thomas's team from Benjamin Russell High School ranked 3rd in the state in the final Sports Writers poll. A great year, 13-1. Their only setback coming to Pine Forest High School in Florida. They were shut out 26-0. Nobody in Alabama has beaten this team yet. Towns looking for the first down mark and could not get there. Brought down at the 32-yard line. That'll bring up 4th and a couple as Matt Allison led the pursuit by Homewood.
Well, this is a great job. A wonderful individual effort by the middle linebacker, number 22, Matt Allison. Look how he sheds off the blocker. He goes right down the line, and he doesn't allow Towns to get around the corner, and he is the heart and soul of the defense. He led this team in the regular season with 133 tackles, and he's been in on a bunch tonight. Good start for Homewood. Let's see if they can do something with it.
Ricky Rhodes coming on to punt for the 5th time this evening. A great average. 42 yards per kick. He has had a couple of boomers. That one squirts under his legs. He's going to get it off, but it's a short kick as well. Homewood running after it, and they will let this one go out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Herb Witches, a little deja vu.
We've been together too long. I was going to use a yogi as a little deja vu all over again. Gee whiz, this looked almost identical. It happened at the same end of the field as it happened to Homewood in the first half. What is it down there? There must be something going on we don't know about. The kicking game once again comes up big, or really comes up negative for both football teams, and we have seen that virtually in every game so far here at Legion Field.
The only difference, Homewood starts at the 36-yard line of Benjamin Russell, while the Wildcats earlier, after the miscue in the punting game, started at the Homewood 8-yard line. Let's see if the Patriots can march on the Wildcats here to start quarter number 3. 9:25 and moving. Our time on the third quarter clock as the Patriots, who dominated the stat sheet but trailed at the half 7-0, have 2nd and 6 upcoming. That's Riley Strauss, and he is blocked. Tyrone Martin, the man that absolutely popped Riley Strauss just across the 30 at the 29.
Well, Pop is right because he's not going in. That's the way you stick that helmet in. That's why you wear that bonnet. This team is really, really hard-hitting on defense. I've been very impressed with the way Benjamin Russell plays big.
Big third three upcoming. Gargis, the quarterback, giving it, faking it to Strauss. And let me correct myself, that is Bragg Knight at quarterback, who got to the 25-yard line. He'll be about a foot shy of the needed yardage for a first down.
Yeah, he's going to come up a little short, but I'm sure Bob Newton has already made up his mind. He and his offensive staff, they need to go for it here and pick up a first down because you don't know about your field goal kicker. That's for starters. You just don't know how healthy he is. This is the right call. Might be one of the biggest plays in this game, if not the biggest.
A power look for the Patriots. The power eye set. They'll give it to the deep man. Strauss, did he get there? Depends on the spot. I don't think he got it. They came in and marked it right at the 25. He needed to get across the 25. Tyrone Martin again, the man leading the pursuit for the Wildcats.
Well, he got that left-footed spot. That may help a little bit. Time to make another one of those bold predictions. Let's see if we can stay perfect. And I'm like you, Chris. I don't think he got there. I'm going to say he came up about 7 to 8 inches short on this one. And that is a very crucial play if, indeed, Homewood doesn't pick up the first down.
Didn't get it.
Not 7 inches, more like 3 or 4, but it doesn't matter. It goes over to Benjamin Russell. And remember that particular play, gambling on a fourth down, but I think it was the right call. With 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, that may come up big.
They got great pursuit right at the point of impact curve, and that's what made the difference on the play.
Another look at it, Tyrone Martin stands him straight up. He's going nowhere.
One of the few times in a short yardage situation that Homewood has been stopped. But Benjamin Russell's defense comes up big. On the give, across the 30 to the 31-yard line. It's Carlton Davis again, scooting through for Benjamin Russell. Nick Newell making the hit for Homewood.
That's not a good sign when your secondary is having to make a lot of the plays. Davis nearly squirted out there and went for some long yardage down the right sideline.
Homewood seeming a little bit deflated after being stopped on 4th and inches, giving up 6 yards on that first down carry. Clock under 7.5 minutes to go here in the third. Towns keeps the legs churning, but too many white helmets there to greet him as he crosses the 31 to the 32.
You know, both of these defenses, just when it looks like they're about to bend and even maybe break, they just don't do it. They continue to come up with big play after big play. They have now got Benjamin Russell. Homewood's defense does, that is, in a 3rd and long 2 situation.
Chris Turner, Palmer Carr leading the charge for the Patriots. 3rd down and 3. Wildcats with a long count. Maybe trying to draw the Patriots offside. Nope, they will snap it. And there's no running room at all. Once again, Jawanski Kendrick on the carry, the 6-foot, 230-pounder, not able to pick up the first down yardage. In fact, he may have lost a yard.
So a good stop there by Homewood. They should get fairly decent field position. Bill Lazenby did not hesitate. I noticed Thomas looked over to the sidelines like, should we go for it? And Coach Phil says, no, we shouldn't go for it, and that is certainly the right call to make.
So once again, coming on to punt, actually the 6th punt of the evening for Benjamin Russell, it will be Ricky Rhodes. He's been a big part of this game. Now, of course, the last one bobbled the snap. This time he handles it surely. Gets off the low wobbly kick that Byram tried to run down. To his credit, let it go. No sense in mishandling one there in a tough situation. Byram making up for the previous mistake. He likes it. So do the Wildcats as they lead at Legion Field.
This year's Alabama High School Athletic Association Super 6 is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Buffalo Rock. By Alagasco. Jack's Hamburgers, celebrating 40 years. By PowerTel, 100% digital, 100% affordable.
Along with Herb Winches, I'm Chris Stewart. Glad you're with us for the 5A championship game. Let's go down on the sidelines. The third member of our broadcast crew, John Cassimus.
Hey, Herb, let's play coach for a few minutes. Benjamin Russell is obviously having a very hard time moving the football. It's 1, 2, 3, and out. They're sitting on a 7-point lead right now. What do you do? 2 more series, you can't move the football, you have to punt. You come back out, change your game plan, and start trying to throw the football and loosen it up a little bit?
No, you don't, John. That's just not in their game plan. They're going to continue to do just what they're doing. That's an excellent question, but I don't think you'll see Phil Lazenby get away from his game plan because they are a running football team and have been all year.
And they've got the lead. That's the whole deal. They may have been stopped time after time, but his defense, and except for one slip-up, the special teams have done the job as well.
You think these teams aren't playing some great defense? Homewood, 4 of 10 on third down conversion, 40%. 1 of 7 for Benjamin Russell for a very paltry 14%.
And while Homewood may be 4 of 10 on third downs, they're 0 for 2 on fourth down attempts. So the defense coming up with some big plays when they need them. For the Wildcats of Benjamin Russell High School in search of their first ever state football championship. Bragg Knight still in at quarterback, giving it to Riley Strauss. And if you are just joining us, it's a platoon system that is used by head coach Bob Newton at Homewood. They started with Parker Gargis and will go also with Bragg Knight. Generally 2 series with that man, number 11, and then 2 also from Bragg Knight.
Well, he's done it all year long, and these 2 quarterbacks, the numbers are just staggering. The numbers they put up together, so similar. You're talking about 1,007 yards for Knight and 1,031 for Gargis.
Knight going deep, but well covered. Trying to hook up that time with Colt Byram. Tell you what, Brent Dye is not a big fella. 5'11", 170, but he does a little bit of everything for this Benjamin Russell football team, and he also plays that secondary pretty well.
You see a good pickup by Raleigh Strauss, and he gives him a little more time. He can buy it there. A little pushing and shoving going on down there. Brent Dye, he's fighting to stay his ground. Brings up a 4th down.
Our replays also available on the Jumbotron here at Birmingham's Legion Field. On the Homewood side, didn't really care for the no call there, but I don't really think there was an advantage gain on either side as the punt from shots is fielded by Dye, and he tries to find some running room, but he shows he's a very intelligent young man, just getting out of bounds when he had no more room to run.
I got to tell you, Chris, I am really surprised. I thought we'd have some fireworks in this football game. I'm shocked to look up there on the scoreboard and to see with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter that we've only had 1 touchdown, and at that, it only had to go 8 yards for the score. I thought for sure that, and I knew both teams could play some really good defense, but I thought the offenses would be able to complement and do their job, but that just tells you something. This has really been about defense here tonight.
Well, an incredible effort for Benjamin Russell. Slowing down, shutting down a Homewood offense that has averaged better than 30 points per game. There's an open field move. Carlton Davis finally brought down at the 10-yard line. The touchdown-saving stop made by Brandon Brown. But a huge play for the Wildcats. You said it, Coach Herb Winches. Stay on the ground, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, that's what got him here tonight to this championship, and so did this guy, Carlton Davis, who's had a sensational year. You see he's got some tremendous speed, but Brandon's pretty quick himself, and he brings him down from behind, and if he hadn't, it would be now 14-0. But this is a tough spot here. It's first, and it looks like it is 1st and goal, right inside the 10, Chris.
See if the Homewood defense can stiffen here. Towns trips his way to the 6-yard line. Second and goal upcoming as the clock ticks under 4 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Obviously, Benjamin Russell, they'd like to tackle on 7 here and get a 14-0 lead. But surely, they'd like to come away with some points, and Homewood would love to see only 3 on the board, or none for that matter.
Second and goal. Towns trying to shake free from a tackler or 2, but he is finally corralled by Nick Newell. He was in the middle of a big pile, and then all of a sudden you look up and Towns is to the outside, and Newell was the last man there.
Well, he's not a very big guy. He's only 5'9", perhaps 160 or so. He got sort of lost there in the shuffle and then squirted out and really came up with a big play.
Benjamin Russell calling for and getting a timeout. Stops the clock with 2:53 to go here in the third quarter, and probably a good timeout, Herb. They haven't had a lot of scoring opportunities, but they've got a golden opportunity here. The Wildcats leading 7-0 in the Class 5A title game from Legion Field. Wildcat faithful enjoying the scoreboard. Their team leading at 7-0 and a chance to build on that lead here, faced with 3rd and goal at the Homewood 7-yard line. Jordan Thomas, the quarterback. They'll send Shealy in motion to the top of your screen, and a fumble on the snap. And I believe the center was able to get back on it. A big break for Benjamin Russell as John Cunningham able to fall on the football. And that preserved a turnover there.
Let's look up underneath the center. Thomas, Cunningham, a bad exchange. Yeah, I'll tell you what what happened right there. It was very obvious. Cunningham really had fired out before he snapped the ball back. It looked like he was carrying the ball with him a half a yard down the field.
That'll bring on Brent Dye, the left-footed kicker. 24-yard attempt from the far hash mark. High snap, but the kick is up. The kick is good. Credit an assist to Matt Cotney. He was the holder. The snap was high, but he got it down, and the kick by Dye gives Benjamin Russell a 10-0 lead over the Homewood Patriots with 2:10 to go in the third.
Well, Chris, I don't know if there is really such a thing as a moral victory, but for Homewood, that was the best case scenario was they came away not giving up anything. But when you're down that deep, only to give up 3, that's not so bad. You're still very much in this ball game. 14 and 10, a lot of difference there. 14, you're talking about 3 scores. When you're down 10-0, you're talking about 2 scores, and you can actually take the lead on that second score with 2 touchdowns. So Bob Newton is aware of that, and he has to feel pretty good about that, only giving up the 3. But as good as this defense is playing for Benjamin Russell, Homewood's really got to try to open it up, and they've got to get the ball, I think, vertically down the field instead of the out patterns. And I think pretty much Benjamin Russell has really called on to what their bread and butter play has been, and that has been the single back, giving it to Riley Strauss one way or the other, left side or right side, and they've caught on to that. So Homewood's got to come up with something a little differently.
Herb, how frustrating must this be for Homewood? They've put up almost 70 yards more in total offense, but have nothing to show for it. Byram near the 30-yard line. I've got to think staying calm, staying patient is maybe the biggest thing for Homewood High School right now.
Well, Homewood has had 45 offensive plays in this game for 164 yards to Benjamin Russell's only 28 offensive plays. That's just amazing when you're talking about total plays, but yet it's 10-0 Benjamin Russell. You know what they say, defense wins championships.
Well, they are about 14 minutes, 3 seconds away from winning a championship based on their defense, as Gargis will go to the air, try to hook up with Colt Byram, and it falls incomplete. John Casimus down on the sidelines.
Guys, Benjamin Russell is winning the hidden yardage tonight. The field goals, kicking game, punting, they've kept Homewood deep in their territory. It's been difficult for them to find the red zone, to get out there and open it up a little bit more and score points, and they're winning it tonight, hidden yardage.
John, that's an excellent point, because on the 1 touchdown they had, they went 8 yards, but that's as far as they had to go after the miscue and the special teams by the Patriots. Collins on the receiving end of the pass from Gargis gets it near the 41-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down.
That's really been the best play for Homewood offensively tonight, and that is Gargis rolling out to his right or his left, and then finding Jay Collins.
10 first downs in the ball game now for Homewood to just 3 for Benjamin Russell. With 4 wideouts in formation, Gargis will give it to Strauss. Right up the gut, Buchanan hanging on. And that's what we talked about. When you get in that wrestling match with a bear, outrun him and try to stay alive. Don't let him get his paws on you. or he's going to gobble you up, and that's what Buchanan did there.
Yeah, you can drive a truck through that hole. Some great blocking up front by the big guys. Andrew Reed, Adam Mathis, Aaron Hicks, the big center, all doing a nice job and opening up some holes.
Gargis hooking up with Byram. Picks up the first down again. A gain of about 8 on the play to the 45-yard line of the Benjamin Russell Wildcats. And Homewood still with a short passing game, able to move the chains. That's the situation they're in with a $1:16 to go in the third. Still plenty of time. You don't have to get away from the game plan just yet.
No, you don't, Chris, but you hit on it. The short passing game, it's working, and it's loosening up the defense. They got the spread, and it's helping them as far as the running game up the middle with Riley Strauss.
This time it'll be Homewood's Taylor Barker, a sophomore at 5'10", 155, getting his first carry of the evening.
That's because Riley once again came up limping and had to leave the field, so this young man is getting his chance to come in as a sub and did a pretty nice job.
Could also explain why they're throwing the football a little bit more as well without Strauss's availability.
Good point.
2nd and 8 upcoming. Gargis hooking up with Byram. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Sliding catch made at the 37-yard line. Benjamin Russell fans did not like it. They'll see the same replay on the Jumbotron that we're seeing now.
Well, let's take a closer look. This is his favorite receiver.
He got his hands underneath that, Herb.
I'm not so sure. It looked like to me it caught a lot of green, a lot of turf before it bounced up.
Only got the one look at it, but it looked like he had his gloves underneath. Now, did it bounce as well? I don't know, but the hands were in a perfect position to make the catch. 3rd down, a long yard needed. They'll go to Strauss. Check that. It's not Strauss, and I don't believe it's a first down. Tyrone Martin making the stop. Actually, Taylor Barker, after they mark it, may have gotten the first down yardage as he got to the 35-yard line.
Well, he certainly got a favorable mark, but I'm a little surprised at this play only because their big gun, their big running back, Riley Strauss, who really gets a lot of valuable yardage, is right now not in the ball game because of that nagging injury.
We are 12 minutes away from crowning the Class 5A state champion. Hope you'll come back and join us at Legion Field. Along with Herb Winches and our sideline reporter, John Cassimus, I'm Chris Stewart. Glad you're with us here at Legion Field in Birmingham. 3 quarters in the books in the 5A state championship. 12 minutes left to go in regulation. Benjamin Russell leading the Patriots of Homewood by a score of 10-0, but the Patriots marching as they're at the 35 of Benjamin Russell here as we begin the 4th quarter of play. Parker Gargis, the quarterback, hooking up with Collins, and he is corralled, but not until he gets the first down.
And he fumbled the ball, and I think it was he that jumped back on it.
That was Britt McGarity,
Yeah,
excuse
McGarity.
me, the man that made the catch. Collins has been a favorite target, but this time he hooks up with big number 89.
There's the play fake. Then he rolls out to the right, does Parker Gargis, and the ball is knocked away, and McGarity is the one, but it goes out of bounds. But you're right, it was to Collins.
It was Collins initially, and then McGarity, the man that wound up with the football. Your eyes working better than mine there, Herb, as on 1st and 10, they'll work from the gun. Inside handoff and stretching his way forward for a gain of 3, maybe 4, was Taylor Barker. Again, playing in place of the injured Riley Strauss. No expression from that man. Bob Newton, the head coach of the Patriots, now trying to encourage his team. They have led virtually throughout in the statistical categories, but not on the scoreboard. They have been shut out thus far, a team that averaged better than 30 points per game, scoreless just over 3/4 of this contest. Let's check in with our own John Cassimus. John?
Guys, Homewood has been in this situation before. Earlier in the year, they had to beat Vestavia in order to get home field advantage. They were down 10-0 in the first quarter, held their composure, came back and won one of the biggest games of the season, not only to get them home field advantage, but to beat their crosstown rival in Vestavia.
John, you're right, and Herb, that was a huge win because Vestavia was undefeated at the time and playing football as well as anybody in the state.
And rated number 3 in Class 6A, a class above Homewood. This is the 11th play of the drive.
3rd and long. They'll swing it out there. Colt Byram makes the catch. Let's see if he got to the first down mark. Brought down on the play by Randy Spivey, who was chasing him in coverage. And the spot will be very important here.
Well, this is both quarterbacks' favorite receiver, Byram. He came into this game nearly 900 yards in receptions on the season, and he juggled that a little bit, but held on. That's all he needed to do, and that's a huge first down for Homewood. It is 1st and goal because the ball is inside the 10-yard line, and I would imagine this is 4-down territory here.
Great catch, the right concentration, and then the presence to stretch the ball across the 10, the yard mark they needed for the first. There's Gargis, almost getting to the end zone, but brought down at the 1. Parker Gargis, the junior quarterback, 5'11", 170 pounds, almost picking up the touchdown here.
There's a fake to Taylor, and the same play we've seen over and over again. He takes it right up the middle. Enough can't be said about that Homewood offensive line. They're doing their job.
Flag on the play. Let's see who this is against. It's 2nd and goal. If it's against Homewood, that would be huge, but instead it's offsides on the Wildcats of Benjamin Russell, again lining up offsides. So that will move the football around just pretty much by the nose.
Yeah, it's going to move all over an inch.
2nd and goal.
Postman on the defense, half the distance to the goal. It's still 2nd down.
Taylor Barker dotting the power eye look. Gargis will keep it himself. Dive, touchdown, Homewood. Patriots on the board for the first time with 10:35 to go in the 4th quarter.
That was a terrific drive, 13 plays, 71 yards, and they used 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and they mixed the run with the pass and did a beautiful job. And Chris Stewart, we have got ourselves a football game.
We do indeed, and an all-important extra point upcoming from Jeremy Schatz. Injured early on. Can he kick it through? His leg is fine. His accuracy is as well. 10-7. Brand new ball game at Legion Field. And you are watching the Super 6 Alabama High School Football Championships. Nothing fancy here, Herb Winches. Quarterback keep.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Philip Gargis when he ran the option for the Auburn Tigers back in the late 70s. And you know, like father, like son, and Parker Gargis, give him tremendous credit here because he led the majority of that drive, 13 plays, 71 yards. He caps it off with a 1-yard run. It's 10-7, and we've got 10:35 to go in the game.
The 3rd Gargis to play for the Homewood, or actually the 2nd to play for the Patriots, but another one already at Auburn, played here last year, and you've got, of course, Parker here trying to lead the Patriots to a championship as well. 10:35 to go in the 4th quarter. Jeremy Schatz battling through an injury earlier in the game, kicking an extra point, and now kicking off. That one picked up by Tremaine Marbury, and he will stay on his feet. Lost the football. Who's got it? I think Homewood picked it up, and they did. Coming out of the pile with it was Chris Turner. Also there, a number of Homewood Patriots, and Homewood, a huge break after scoring for the first time. They are back in this football game and a chance to take the lead.
Well, let's look at it again, and you got to mention this, even though Marbury has some trouble, but Matt Allison, he is right there on the spot, and then another Homewood Patriot comes in, jars the ball loose, but Matt Allison is the one that created the havoc there, and Homewood, Chris Turner falls on it, and now Homewood has got some wonderful field position, something they have not enjoyed most of this ball game, but they've got it right now.
Gargis, the inside handoff, and not much running room at all for Taylor Barker. John Casimus, big break there for Homewood.
Guys, as a defensive coach, one thing you cannot stand about a no-huddle offense is the fatigue factor. These guys came off the field a few minutes ago, were very tired. The relentless pace is brutal, and if they continue like this, you can look for Homewood to bust some big plays.
Good point there, John, because that was a 13-play drive, and then on the ensuing kickoff, You see Benjamin Russell with the fumble. Homewood's right back out there on offense. And as good as this defense is, you got to think they're a little bit tired.
From the gun with 4 wideouts in formation. Gargis looking to throw. Now he will look to run. And picked up only a couple of yards on the play. Well covered by Benjamin Russell, and defensively able to string that play out as well. Tyrone Martin, the man that made the hit.
Also Marquise Gunn in on the play. Gargis has done such a terrific job running and throwing the football. It looked like he had a little more real estate, but the offensive lineman comes off his block, and you see nothing but maroon jerseys, and he did the best thing he could do. Just get what you can and don't make any mistakes.
He won't get credit for the tackle, but Corey Davis is the man that actually made the play, number 57, forcing him back inside. That number tells a lot of the story, but not the whole story. Benjamin Russell still on top on the slant. Pass broken up, and it will bring up 4th down. Homewood wanting pass interference called, but instead they'll line up and try to kick the field goal. It would tie the game. Let's look at it here. Trying to hook up with Colt Byram.
Well, Randy Spivey is on him like a cheap suit. Nothing wrong with that play whatsoever. And now, big play here coming up to tie this ball game. And Rex Shannon, our spotter up here, a minute ago, he wrote me a note. He said, do you think we could see our first overtime in the state playoffs? And who knows, it may come to fruition.
33-yard attempt from Jeremy Schatz. The kick is up. It is certainly long enough, and it is good. Brand new football game at Legion Field. 8:53 to go. Benjamin Russell 10, Homewood 10 in the 5A state title game. You're watching the Super 6 live from Legion Field, brought to you by Buffalo Rock, Mountain Dew, PowerTel, Alagasco, and Jax. Well, when we started the 4th quarter, Homewood trailed 10-0, but it didn't take them long to turn it around, Herb.
Yeah, and they've turned it around in less than 5 minutes. Interesting that they play the entire ball game. We go through 3.5 quarters. They got no points, and within less than 4 minutes, they scored 10 points, and we're knotted up at 10 apiece with 8:53 to go here in this 5A championship from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, and practically every fan here at Legion Field is standing. Hardly anybody's sitting, and I don't blame them.
Not at all. I'm Chris Stewart along with Herb Winches. John Cassimus roaming the sidelines for us, and we're glad you've joined us all throughout Alabama for statewide live television coverage of the 5A state championship. Staying on his feet as he approaches the 29-yard line was Carlton Davis, giving Benjamin Russell very good field position, but they haven't been able to do a whole lot with it offensively. Now, the fact that you've been dominated in the stats really sort of plays a part for Benjamin Russell.
Yeah, when you look at their total plays, 28 for only 92 total yards in the game. Let's see if they're going to try to open it up just a little bit. First downs, Homewood has dominated there, 14 to only 3 for Benjamin Russell.
These two teams met 15 weeks ago in the season opener. Benjamin Russell won that one 25 to 18. But we are deadlocked here in the 4th quarter as we near the 8.5-minute mark. Bo Spear and Jonathan Durr combining on the stop. That defensive unit not nearly as tired as it was about 5 minutes ago.
You know, that's what's so great about football. You're really downtrodden. Your team is trailing 10-0. You can't do anything right. You get a turnover. You create some points. Next thing you know, you got a tie ball game. You're talking about lift the confidence of a defense. It's, I'm sure, done it for Homewood.
Short drop. Thomas looking for running room. Doesn't find it. He tripped over his own man, actually. You have to give credit to Homewood's Harlequin Sanders. He's the man that tripped up the Russell offensive lineman, but just nowhere to go for Jordan Thomas.
Also, Mark Longworth doing a nice job there for Homewood. And I'm going to tell you something. That's what you call a little bit of a coverage tactic, because he wanted to throw the football to Thomas, but he looked downfield, and everybody was covered, so he had to eat it.
3rd and 8. They're only 1 of 8 in the game thus far on 3rd downs are the Wildcats. Inside handoff, and getting close to the mark, Benjamin Russell's Demetrius Shealy. But I don't think he got there. about a yard shy.
Well, you see the official there, Butch Herb, he is putting up his fist. That means it's 4th down as far as they're concerned. They're not even going to measure it, and it is a good yard, maybe even a little further than that, a yard and a half short.
Matt Allison, the leading tackler for this Homewood team, coming in, making the stop, and once again we'll see that man, number 84, Richie Rhodes, the senior, who has handled the punting duties for Benjamin Russell, and nobody deep right now for Homewood.
It looks like to me it may be by design. They don't have anybody, but well, Chris Turner's finally going back deep.
Yeah, they took Colt Byram off the field, and now the flag will come in, delay of game, the call against Benjamin Russell. Homewood wasn't convinced that the Wildcats were going to punt that football.
Too much on the line. I mean, that's the smart play. Coach Lazenby, he made the right call there. And, you know,
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense. Still 4th down.
Coach Lazenby doesn't have an 86-35 record for nothing. Momentum is clearly swung Homewood's way now. The defense did their job. Let's see if the offense can come up big, or if it's going to be that good defense for Benjamin Russell that's going to win the state championship for them.
Another beautiful kick by Rhodes, sending Byram back to his 22. He will take a knee right there. Let's go to the sidelines and John Cassimus.
Guys, let's revisit 2 key plays of the game as far as victory for Homewood. Eliminating running inside the tackles and not giving up a long 3rd down. Homewood's done that all night long and is continually putting Benjamin Russell in a precarious position. Back upstairs.
Thank you, John. With 6:28 to go, that's the whole key, Herb. Don't get away from what has brought you to a state title game, and I don't think either team really has done that.
And Bob Newton's not getting away from his platooning. He's gone back to Bragg Knight.
But he will give it to Parker Gargis. Still in the game at running back with Riley Strauss still bothered by the sprained ankle. Gargis not able to get much running room at all. Lucky if he got back to the original line of scrimmage.
Running back on offense, Jawanski Kendricks. Linebacker on defense, and he is the one that'll be credited with the stop.
Randy Spivey also there to help out. Bragnott, the quarterback, working from the gun on 2nd and 10. He will hook up with Collins on the near side, and what a great catch. Drug that back foot. You only need 1 foot down in high school football, and Collins able to reel this one in across the 30.
Well, both quarterbacks, Gargis and Bragnott, this has been their favorite target tonight. And during the course of the season, it has always been Colt Byron, but tonight they have just kind of locked in on Collins, and he's made a lot of key catches for this Homewood offense.
I know Benjamin Russell didn't like the call initially, but that was a great call. A textbook catch made that time by Jake Collins. On 3rd and a yard, one of the biggest plays of the ball game coming with 5:43 to go. Knott keeping it himself. Knott, the 1st down and more. Near midfield, he is finally corralled at the 48-yard line, but the chains will move as the Patriots pick up a big 1st down here.
All right, we're going to let you look at this one on the telestrator, and I'm going to tell you how it opens up. You watch this right here. This offensive line, they make it happen. The right side, led by Hicks, Bodkin, and Brown, the right tackle. Now let's clear it and let it run, and watch this. Bragnott, and he waits too. He's very patient. He lets it clear, and they get the big guy, Buchanan, out of the way, and Bragnott does the rest. He knew he had the 1st down, and he said, since I've got the 1st, I might as well go for another 10 yards.
They'll give it to Gargis across midfield to the 49-yard line of the Wildcats. And the clock ticking away. Benjamin Russell High School with 5 minutes to go, tied with Homewood. The Wildcats looking for their 1st state championship in school history. Homewood looking for its 3rd, its 1st since that man's 1st season as head coach, 1995.
This has been a well-played ball game. 2 outstanding coaches, 2 really fine football teams.
down. Lost the football, but did they mark it dead? Let's wait and see. I think they marked it dead. They're going to say, no, it's Benjamin Russell football.
We need to take a look at this because it looked like to me that Bragg Knott was really already on his seat.
It was just laying the football down, but let's see if that's actually what happened, Herb.
Well, let's look at it a little closer here. You see the quarterback, Bragg Knott, with that standard fake, and now he is tackled from behind, and if he's on the... That's
good call.
Good call.
I believe that was Justin Buchanan again that stripped it.
It was indeed. He ripped it out.
Look at him coming to the left of your screen. Look at that big paw.
That's who it was, Justin Buchanan, the strongest man in high school football, and it takes that kind of strength to rip it out of the runner's arm, and he did that, and now turnovers are even up at 1 apiece.
They've done it with defense all night. Benjamin Russell able to do it again, but Homewood with an answer. Once again making the stop, Chris McCauley, the senior linebacker, 6 feet, 195 pounds.
And if you got to give the MVP to a defensive player, he would be my choice. The linebacker has been all over the field. Yet another stop by Chris McCauley, and he is laying it on the line here for Homewood.
A loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 12 upcoming. The clock ticking under 4 minutes now left to go in the 4th quarter of the Class 5A state championship game. Wherever you're watching us across the state, in Birmingham, Mobile, Huntsville, Montgomery, Dothan, and all points in between, we're so glad you've joined us here all weekend long for the Super 6. Again, Homewood's defense rising to the occasion. Jake Galbraith leading the charge along with Palmer Carr, and the Patriots have forced Benjamin Russell into a 3rd and long.
And look at Jake Galbraith, the defensive lineman, the junior, 6'1", 245. He just stands his man straight up. He waits for some help, and the tackle's behind the line, and a big loss on the play. And the defenses both have really come up big here. 3rd down conversions now, 1 for 9 on the night for Benjamin Russell. That's not a very good percentage.
Not at all. Phil Lazenby wanting a timeout. His players see him, and we'll get the timeout as we want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. And to tell you what, first time in history, Herb, we've been able to present the games live throughout the state of Alabama. Certainly could not do it without the help of our sponsors, Buffalo Rotten, Mountain Dew, PowerTel, Alagasco, and Jax.
And also want to thank Steve Mann and his staff, the general manager at UPN 68. This was his dream. He's worked for 3 years to try to make this happen, and he's lived that dream, and he's here, and he'll be on with us tomorrow afternoon. I know this has been enjoyable for he and his staff at UPN 68 and their sister station, WTTO Channel 21. There you see their logo. Just want to mention again, it's a big weekend in Birmingham after Super 6 and the final game tomorrow. It's on to Arby's, the Hardwood Classic, Alabama and Auburn in town for a little hoops action at the BJCC. And then Sunday night, don't forget the superstars of the WWF, and you can see that Thursday nights on UPN 68. That's SmackDown, although last night preempted because of the state championships. But that Sunday night Armageddon live pay-per-view broadcast internationally. You get tickets by calling 715-6000 is the number to call. Overtime rules a little differently than they are in college, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Big 3rd down play upcoming. On the option, keeping it and finding nowhere to go was Clay Harrelson, the sophomore, as we go back to the overtime rules, which could definitely come into play.
Yeah, here's where you want to get to. The most points win. Each team is given 4 downs starting at the opponent's 10. Unlike college where you start at the 25, and if you want, you can pick up a 1st down or whatever happens, happens. But here you're given 4 downs, and that's all you get.
4th down upcoming now for Benjamin Russell. And the Wildcats will have to punt. Clock ticking under 2:23 to play. Colt Byram and Nick Newell awaiting the kick. Another booming kick from Rhodes, and it will go out of bounds. And let's see where the official stops. At the, he's going to move back up now. He decides on the 14-yard line. He just hacked off everybody. On both sides, I should say.
And Richie Rhodes, other than the one miscue as he has had tonight, he has been a valuable weapon for this Benjamin Russell team.
He has kicked an average of 39 yards per punt, and yet Herbie still had the very short kick after,
which hurt his average.
Exactly right. I mean, his average would be well over 40 yards. He has 15 times this year pinned the other team inside the 15-yard line. 6 of them, he's pinned the opponent inside the 5. Homewood starting at the 14-yard line right now with 2 minutes, 8 seconds to play. Gargis stretching to the 18-yard line.
This is when you really have to offensively protect the football. If you're Benjamin Russell, you're thinking about, again, trying to strip the football away, and you've got the short field to work with. A field goal would obviously more than likely win the game. So for Homewood, the key for them is they have got to really hang on to the football. You can't afford to have it stripped away, and Benjamin Russell, you know they're going to be going after that football on every play. And we got an injury timeout momentarily.
Tyrone Martin is the injured player for Benjamin Russell, and really a break for Homewood there, Herb. They've got all 3 timeouts remaining, but because of Martin's injury, they didn't have to use one of those timeouts.
That's a good point, Chris, but still only 1:57 to go, and they've got a 2nd and about 7 situation. You've got to be a little bit careful because you are deep in your own territory.
Real quickly, want to thank our good friends at Mrs. Winters and Buffalo Rock for providing food and beverage for our production staff this evening. 2nd down and 7 for the Patriots. Tie ball game at 10 apiece, the 4th quarter of the Class 5A championship game. The pass upcoming. Gargis looking, throwing, and that is a busted route, but it was picked off. An interception. Oh, they're going to say it's incomplete. Making the catch was Jeremy Toller and Phil Lasby. You saw him look to his right. That's the end where the Jumbotron is located. He wants to see the replay, and we will as well. Take a look at it, bottom of your screen, and he made the catch.
He made the catch. You only need 1 foot. Let's take it back, guys, and we'll review it one more time. Let's lose it here and come back one more time and take another look at Taylor, and that was a break for Homewood because that was an interception. You only need 1 foot inbounds in high school.
9 throws, broken up, incomplete. And the Homewood coaching staff wanting pass interference, and there's no way in the world the officials are going to make that call after the last close call, 1 play prior, went in favor of Homewood.
Let's look at it again, and we're going to freeze it in just a second. Well, that's the last play there knocked away. That's just great defense there. And Taylor is back in defensively and comes up with 2 huge plays there for the Benjamin Russell defense. And now Homewood is forced to kick, and they should more than likely give Benjamin Russell some pretty good field position here. A field goal, that's all they would need to win this 5A state championship with 1:34 to go.
Schatz gets off the kick. A wobbly kick that Dye will let roll dead inside the 45-yard line. So Homewood couldn't come up with any yardage with a couple of minutes to go. Benjamin Russell perhaps with 1 final attempt as well. If you're Phil Lasby, do you try to shorten this field and say, let's try our luck in overtime, because they haven't been able to move the ball very long and well? We'll get John Casmus's thoughts down on the sideline. John?
As I spoke to Phil Lasby last night by telephone, and he told me that one thing that was very in the back of his mind that he knew he could go to was his place kicker, Brent Dye. Earlier in the year, he kicked a 47-yarder against Homewood, and last year he kicked a 50-yarder against Homewood. So this thing could come down to a field goal.
Well, they will go on the inside handoff and give him 2 points for a takedown right there. Chris Turner laying the smackdown, since we're going to keep with the wrestling mode from earlier on Demetrius Sheeling. By the way, on that wrestling card, are you on the undercard with the Great Kaiser?
Boy, you've got a long memory.
I do, indeed.
You have really just dinged me these last couple days. I'll get even before this weekend is out. Now, this is a really critical time of the game. We've got less than a minute to play.
Fumble on the play. Homewood's got it. The Homewood defense, again, making the big play. It's Mark Longworth, Bo Spear, and I think Chris McCauley is the man that caused the turnover.
Yeah, along with, they're all three in on the play. You'll see the replay. Absolutely just busted up the play. You see this on the inside, and I'm trying to catch the number.
Yeah, that's McCauley.
That is McCauley, and we said we'd name him our MVP. Look at it again, McCauley. He is almost there before the quarterback can get it off to Towns, and they bust up the play, and he nearly comes up with the fumble recovery. Bottom line, Homewood's got it, 49 seconds, and they've got plenty of timeouts.
All 3 timeouts remaining from the gun, keeping it himself. That's Gargis at the 30. The 26-yard line. He is brought down there, and Homewood will use its first timeout, or will they? They will hurry to the line of scrimmage. The clock stops momentarily while they move the chains, and let's see if they will burn a timeout. 42 seconds on the clock. Nope, they're going to go ahead and start it. Clock is moving now. Under 40 seconds to go. Little surprised they didn't burn one right there, Herb. Let's see what they'll do on 1st and 10 from the 26. They lost 10 seconds off the clock. Flag on the play as Gargis gets to the 22-yard line before being brought down there. Talk about the strategy in not using the timeout, Herb.
Well, I think the strategy for Bob Newton is, his offense is a no-huddle type offense anyway. It is basically what we've seen all night long, handoff right, handoff left, or take the quarterback and go to either side or up the middle. So they know they're going to run that particular offense. 27 seconds where they are is an eternity, and this is a costly penalty here because it's going to be illegal procedure called on Homewood.
So that will bring it back. Let's look at the earlier run by Gargis. This is the one that put them in great field position.
There's that fake to the right side to the back, and straight up the middle is Phil Gargis. Nothing fancy at all about that. But the bottom line is that offensive line that has done a yeoman's job tonight for this Homewood team. Let's mention these guys again. Andrew Reed, Adam Mathis, Aaron Hicks, and Chad Botkin, and right tackle Jarius Brown. They have done an outstanding job for Homewood. They've opened up big holes all night long. Will this not be interesting if it comes down to number 5, who has been injured most of the night? We're talking about Jeremy.
Matt McBurney, the young man that is injured right now, a senior, 6'2", 255. We talked about student athletes during the halftime break with Ken Blankenship from the Alabama High School Coaches and Athletic Directors Association. Matt McBurney, a great example of the tremendous student athletes in the state of Alabama. He's got a 3.91 GPA. He also racks up some good numbers on the field, 123 tackles and 5 sacks coming in to tonight's ball game. Bob Newton pleading his case across the way. John Cassimus down on the sidelines. We're getting down to crunch time, buddy.
Hey, you guys, it's unbelievable down here. These guys are hitting, fighting, it's scrapping for every yard. Matt McBurney has got cramps in his left calf. Again, fatigue factor setting in. These guys are having a relentless pace offensively, and it's very tough for these young guys to play without getting cramps.
Hard to believe that on a night as cool as this, you would have the muscle cramps, but guys have been playing and battling and used so much energy over the course of the night, you're still going to cramp up from time to time.
If it does come down to the foot, the toe, if you will, Jeremy Schatz, I've seen this young man kick a couple of times this year, and Chris, he is not as big as a peanut. I mean, this kid, probably soaking wet, is only about 145, but he has got tremendous leg strength. Now, we know that leg, he's injured. He's been hobbling and limping all evening long. If it does come down to his leg, I think he is certainly capable, much like Brent Dye, for the other side, that he can kick a long field goal. When I say long, I'm talking about in excess of 45 yards.
Well, Homewood will now burn its first timeout of the ball game. They will have 2 remaining. Benjamin Russell also with 2 timeouts left. If they had to kick, it would be a 47-yard field goal. But if Homewood's not able to score, we'll go to overtime. And again, a reminder, this is the procedure for overtime in Alabama high school football.
Visiting team, captain calls. In this case, it would be Homewood. They are the visiting team across the way. The winner of the toss chooses offense, defense, and the end of the field. It's always important. Usually the team that wins the coin toss, they'll go on defense first. Each team, unlike college, yeah, you're giving 4 downs in college as well, but you can pick up first downs. Here, you've got to score. You get 4 plays, and that's all. And obviously, the most points wins in overtime.
It's not sudden death. You're able to go with the equal number of possessions. And Herb, you mentioned the team that wins the toss wants to go on defense. That's so they will know what they have to do once they get the football.
That's right. You're playing a little poker hand, and did they score a field goal, we know that if we score one, we go into yet another extra period. But if they score a touchdown, we know that we can't score a field goal. That's basically the way it works.
First down and 15. First down mark at the 15-yard line as Gargis will keep it himself, working his way to the 25-yard line.
And notice he's going to the hash. He's trying to keep it close to the hash mark. And Jeremy, he probably asked him, Jeremy, if it comes down to, what are you most comfortable with? The left hash, middle of the field, right hash? Where do you think you can kick this field goal to win it for us and a state championship?
And ordinarily, for a right-footed kicker, they like the hash to the near side of the field. They like the left a little bit better angle. Instead of having to kick back across their body, they're able to work it from this angle. And that is the young man who could determine the Class 5A state championship. Jeremy Schatz, the 5'8", 140-pound senior.
Soaking wet.
Exactly. With the 5-pound weight in his back pocket. This is a young man who was injured early in the game. And he made his first field goal attempt of 33 yards. That came in the 4th quarter. But injured, bobbled a punt, snap, and then had it partially blocked when the blocker took out the ball and most of his leg as well. Missed one punting opportunity, maybe 2, but has handled every kicking responsibility here in the second half for Homewood, including the game-tying 33-yard field goal early in the 4th quarter.
What you're going to see here, Parker Gargis, I'm thinking more than likely will keep the football himself, and let's see, will he go right, will he go left? He's just trying to get it in field goal position.
He will keep it himself. He's got running room. 15. And he is brought down at the 12-yard line. They'll call timeout and stop the clock with 8 seconds to play.
Forget about the first down, and it's close to being measured, and I think they're here at the first down. It doesn't matter. You bring on your field goal kicker, and you win this here with 8 seconds to go in the ball game. What a great effort by Parker Gargis. Look at it again. That bread and butter basic play, fake to the halfback or give to. Once again, they fake it. He goes straight up the middle, and Benjamin Russell, as good as their defense has been, they have not been able to defend that play all evening long. And look at Parker Gargis right there at the very end. What did he do? He doubled over. He got both hands on the football. Very important. Here is where the game is on the line. Jeremy Schatz, and I guess this would be irony, the fact that he has been injured, hobbled. He has really sucked it up. He's shown a lot of courage, and now I know he realizes that it's all on his shoulders if Homewood is going to win the 5A championship. And you know they know it on the Benjamin Russell sideline too.
All the running, all the conditioning, all the lifting of weights during the offseason when nobody's around to cheer you on. 14 weeks of football games, an entire high school career. It all comes down to a little kicker, 5'9", and 145 pounds. Jeremy Schatz, a 28-yard attempt to win the Class 5A state championship for Homewood. If he misses, we will have overtime. Benjamin Russell using the first of its 2 timeouts. It's already cool tonight. They're going to ice him a little bit more.
And they'll probably ice him one more time. You might as well spend those timeouts. It doesn't do any good to take him to the locker room or after the game is over. So I would imagine Phil Lazenby is going to go for another timeout. There he is, 13 for 18 on the season, a very good average. And this young man, as I said, he's got a very strong leg for a little guy. He's played some soccer. He understands it, and he understands, I'm sure, the importance of this kick. He's a senior, and, you know, think about it, Chris. This is something, if indeed he makes this kick, that he'll remember the rest of his life in front of 17,000 Legion Field State 5A Championship. He was injured most of the night, and he can turn out to be the hero. And if indeed he makes this kick, you watch this place erupt, because it is a partisan crowd here, even though a lot of folks from down at Alex City made their way up here It's still a very partisan crowd. Homewood, just a suburb right outside of Birmingham. And you know they're right now hoping for this kick.
Well, they say no timeouts now left, so this will do it. 28-yard attempt. Snap and hold it good. The kick's blocked. It's blocked. Benjamin Russell getting the block, and the Wildcats have forced overtime. There's 1 second to play, but I'll be shocked if they do anything other than go to an E. We're going to have overtime for the 5A state championship.
Let's see who got in there on the play. The blocking up front, it looks like it's coming from the left side. Yes, it was. And I'm trying to get the number.
I think it's Randy Spivey as you take a look at the
It is
reaction.
Randy. You see a happy Phil Lazenby and a very dejected Bob Newton. And it's funny how this game can just turn on just one kick. And kicking game, that's been the story not only of this game, but of this entire Super 6 Championship Series. In every classification, we have seen the kicking game play a very integral part in the outcome of the game. 34, Randy Spivey, who has come up big time and time again for this Benjamin Russell defense, has come through once again. He's been in on a number of tackles, made a lot of big plays, but none any bigger than that block of the field goal. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to overtime.
Jordan Thomas taking an E. Free football at Legion Field. Phil Lazenby's Benjamin Russell Wildcats trying to pick up a state championship. Bob Newton's Homewood Patriots want that blue trophy as well. Don't go anywhere. Overtime coming up next. The play of the game coming from the right of your screen. Randy Spivey
Right there.
blocking the kick with 8 seconds to go.
There's Randy coming in. Shots trying to get the kick off. Nobody picked him up.
I need to correct something, Herb. It was not Randy Spivey, number 34. It looked like it may have been Eric Brock, number 10. It was Spivey coming from the left of our screen. I believe it was Brock that came from the right.
You're right, indeed it was. The sophomore defensive back. Biggest play I know he's made in his career for Benjamin Russell. And I'm sure the coach feels that way too. We are going to overtime.
It's that man. I am so sorry, Eric. You make the play of the game in the 5A title matchup, and it takes me 5 minutes to get it right. But glad to get it corrected.
Well,
He saved the day for Benjamin Russell.
He did, and all of his teammates are coming over to say, thanks a lot, Eric. We still can play a little football out here tonight, and the state championship has not been settled yet. It was hard to pick up that number.
John Cassim is down on the sidelines. Free football for us, buddy.
Hey, Herb, Homewood is now out of their normal offensive mode. They're going to be on the goal line. They're going to have to go too tight. What do you expect them to do?
Well, I don't know exactly what they'll do, John. I mean, I think they'll stay with their basic defense. It's worked for them all night long. I mean, Benjamin Russell hasn't really, what you would say, racked up a lot of yards. And here we go. The official, Butch Herb. Here comes the...
It is tail. You win the toss. You want defense. Okay, which end of the field do you want?
Well, you called that one earlier, Herb. You win the toss. You want to go on defense.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Line up here. Come, line up here now. Okay, gentlemen, we're going to play on that end of the field. Good luck to you. Great game.
Benjamin Russell won the toss.
What a great ball game we've had. One that, at least as far as the stats are concerned, dominated by Homewood. 309 yards of total offense. Benjamin Russell still at 97. They haven't crossed the century mark yet, but the scoreboard even at 10 apiece.
And only 36 plays to Homewood 72. Here's a closer look at the blocked field goal. We got a better angle on it. Jeremy, he's doing his job, but coming in on the other side is Eric Brock. Basically, nobody really picked him up. It was somebody's responsibility, but Eric Brock, he came up with the biggest play of his career there at Benjamin Russell. Eric Brock, just a sophomore, 6'1", 170. And nice job, Eric.
Homewood, possession first. Basically, first and goal. That's what you've got. They'll have 4 downs to try and put points on the board. Then Benjamin Russell will have 4 downs as well. Gargis keeping it himself. Got a yard at the most. They'll give him maybe 6 inches on the play. Jawanski Kendrick leading the charge defensively for Benjamin Russell.
Well, that play has been awfully good all night long for Homewood. But when you're talking overtime now, Benjamin Russell, they are sniffing it out. They know what to expect. Homewood hasn't changed much offensively. They've run that play over and over, and it's been very good to them. No doubt about that. But now you're talking about some valuable real estate at the 10-yard line.
Britt McGarity and Colt Byram, the wideouts, to the top of your screen. Gargis looking in the air, looking for Byram. He's got him at the 5-yard line. Clock will run. It doesn't mean anything, though. The officials making those signals, but no time on the clock. It's all about 4 downs here.
Here's the fake. They've done this all night. Gargis rolling out to avoid pressure, and he finds Byram.
Matt Cotney, the defensive end, almost got a hand on that football. 3rd and goal from the 5. Byram to the near side, the wide out. They'll look to the left. Collins, he's wide open. Touchdown, Homewood.
Boy, you could see that coming a mile away. That's the throwback. Great call, Chris Stewart. You could see that. That's really kind of the first, I don't want to call it a trick play because we see that all the time, but we have not seen that play all night long. Bob Newton did have that final trick up his sleeve. 3rd down and go at the 5. They were going to have to settle for a field goal, but instead, look at the throwback. Are you kidding me? Wide open. All he had to worry about, can I hang on to it?
Once again, coming on to kick, Jeremy Schatz, and a timeout called by Homewood. They want to make certain they've got everybody in the right spot, all lined up as we look at the touchdown play again.
One more time. It's designed this way. Parker Gargis, he runs way over to the right side, and now you see Collins slipping out of the backfield, untouched, uncovered, in for the touchdown, and that is huge. One more look from our ground level camera. He rolls to the right side. The entire line moved to the right side to give the look to the Benjamin Russell defense that they were definitely going to roll right. They bid on it. He throws back left, and Collins comes up with a huge catch. And now the onus, assuming the extra point is made, goes back on Benjamin Russell. They cannot settle for a field goal. That's been established. They took a chance, and they did the right thing by putting Homewood on offense and going on the defense. But now the pressure's on them, Chris. They've got to score 7 to stay in this game.
Homewood, 399 yards of total offense now. And they will come on and try the extra point. Jeremy Schatz from the hold of Jonathan Durr, a senior, 5'11", 175, handling the football.
And here's Eric Brock again. He's going to try to block another one.
Snap was high, but he got it down. The kick is up. It is true, and Homewood now leading 17-10. It's their first lead of the night. It comes in overtime, and now Benjamin Russell, plain and simple, has to score a touchdown to keep this going.
And think about this. We've talked about total number of plays. 34 for Benjamin Russell for only 83 yards total. So that tells you how good the defense has been against the rush. What does Benjamin Russell do? They love to run the football. You know how many pass attempts they've had tonight? Only 3, and they've completed 1. They're 1 for 3, so you know Homewood knows what to look for, the run.
Thomas inside handoff to Kendrick, stretching his way to about the 6-yard line, and that, if it is to the 6, just now puts them over the 100-yard mark in rushing. Actually, they'll spot it at the 7, so still at 99 yards total offense this evening for Phil Lazenby's team. Phil Lazenby and Bob Newton, teammates in college. Together they won a Division II national championship at Sanford. Now they square off against each other for the 5A crown. No running room there for Jawanski Kendrick. And Bob Newton's team led defensively by Chris McCauley all night long.
And Chris, they're doing the right thing. Homewood is walking 8 and 9 men up in the box right when the ball is about to be snapped. Why? Because they know too. They've been playing this game all night and they're thinking, no, I've not seen many passes at all. More than likely they're going to run the football. That's why they're walking. Watch it the very last second before the snap. He'll walk up 3 or 4 more men. It looks like about 8 or 9 men in the box. Here they come.
Shealy in motion. On the option, keeping it, Thomas, touchdown! We haven't seen him call his number all night long, it seems, but Thomas able to score on the keeper. That is just his 4th carry of the night. It results in a touchdown, and Benjamin Russell within a point of tying this one.
And the fake to Kendrick really set that up. You're right. We haven't seen Thomas call his number hardly at all night long, but he suckered in the Homewood defense. They all collapsed thinking it was going to be Kendricks, which is a natural thing to think because he is the top ball carrier. And then, of course, he had the open to the end zone.
Guy's kick. It's up. It's good. How about double overtime? 17 all. We've played 4 quarters and an overtime and have not settled anything. Benjamin Russell and Homewood duking it out for the 5A state championship here at Birmingham's Legion Field. So glad you've joined us tonight all throughout Alabama on Birmingham's WABM, UPN 68. In Mobile on WJTC, UPN 44. In Huntsville, our affiliate is WHDF, UPN 15. In Montgomery, thanks for joining us on AT&T Cable. And those of you watching us on Comcast Cable, Channel 4 in Dothan, glad you're with us in the Wiregrass area as we look at the scoring play again.
The fake to Kendricks, the rollout, and Homewood. You see a couple of the backs thinking it might be a pitch. Thomas, though, doesn't pitch it. He does the smart thing. He just turns it upfield. And one of the few times we've seen him be able to shake free and gain any yardage against this very stingy Homewood defense all night long. Oh, what a ball game. This is what makes the state championship so great. Because of games like this, it's well played, it's well officiated, well coached. Both coaches have done an exceptional job. Whomever wins this game, the other team has nothing to be ashamed of. They have a lot to be proud. This is the kind of game, Chris, and I know this kind of sounds corny, but I really sincerely mean this, that you hate to see anybody lose because these kids have just laid it on the line all night long. I mean, they're going to sleep good tonight when they, and I'm sure the Alex, going back to Alex City, Benjamin Russell, those kids on the bus, they're going to sleep all the way back. They're tired. Unless they win, then they celebrate.
You're exactly right. Homewood, almost 400 yards of total offense. Benjamin Russell just over 100, and let's listen in for the very important coin toss.
Same procedure all over again.
Actually, it's automatic flip-flop. I'm sorry. That's right.
That is, there's not a, you're exactly right.
The only thing that was determined is which end of the field that you will defend.
Well, we've worn out this end of the field, so let's go down to the other side. One more look at the touchdown. Here's Jordan Thomas. The fake up the middle to Kendricks. He keeps it himself. He never even thought about pitching it. The Homewood defense, nowhere to be found there. He had a big hole to run through, and we got ourselves a tie. Now, automatically, it will be Benjamin Russell that has to go on offense. So we flip-flopped it, and now Homewood gets what we think might be the advantage here. Their defense is out on the field first. In this second, we're in a double OT.
Couldn't ask for anything more out of the final game of the year in Class 5A football. But folks, don't forget, we've got another day of action coming up. Tomorrow at noon, Herb Winches and I will have the call on the Class 3A state title matchup. And Herb will be joined by Matt Coulter on that 6A title game as well, coming up at 3:30. But still some work to complete here tonight in Class 5A. Thomas giving it to Kendrick at the 5, upended there on a nice tackle by Chris Turner. Jawanski Kendrick picking up 5 yards on 1st and goal from the 10.
Now that is a good call. You'll notice just a moment ago, they faked it to Kendrick, and then Thomas kept it, and Homewood was looking for Thomas again. This time he hands it off to Kendricks, picks up some good yards. 5 yards there on 1st down. It's 2nd and goal from the 5.
Demetrius Shealy is the wing back to the right. Davis and Kendrick are the running backs. It's Kendrick. He's at the 4, at the 3, at the 2, and at the 1-yard line. He is brought down. Jawanski Kendrick sniffing at the goal line as we'll have 3rd down and goal upcoming.
This is where this kid is so tough. When you've got to have the important yards, Kendrick gets it. He's a big back. He's got a lot of terrific body lean, and he gets it all the way down, almost inside the 1. The ball is resting right at the 1-yard line. Chris, big play.
It is indeed 3rd and goal from the 1. Thomas giving it to Kendrick. He dives for the goal line. He did not get in. He did not make it. Brought down about a foot away from the end zone. And decision time here for Phil Lazenby. Bob Newton looking on.
Another great effort, outstanding effort by that entire defensive front for Homewood. They standing straight up, and that's a good call by the officials. He's got to break the plane, and that ball did not cross the plane. So here's a gamble by Phil Lazenby now. He could kick the field goal, but he's going for the touch.
Kendrick and Davis, again, your running backs. Thomas giving it to Kendrick. He is in. Touchdown, Benjamin Russell. On 4th and goal from about a foot outside, the Wildcats regain the lead, 23-17.
It is so tough to keep that big back out of the end zone. And Homewood did a nice job when they stopped him the first time. But the second time, not to be. He's just got too much strength and a good... You see how low he stayed there? He really got down very low, got underneath the tacklers, and all he had to do was go less than a yard for the touchdown. Big extra point here.
The hold by Jeffrey Haynes, the kick by Brent Dye. They're both good. And Benjamin Russell making it now 24-17 in second overtime. Let's look at the touchdown again.
Well, just a really nice movement by that offensive line as they got just enough momentum to move Homewood's defense back. Didn't have to move them far, and then Kendricks did the rest. He is a very, very good running back.
Now, it's on Homewood's shoulders. The offense down by 7. They trailed by 10 starting the fourth quarter. They got a touchdown and a field goal to knock things at 10, and in overtime, the first OT, they were able to score.
Still playing without their star running back, Riley Strauss.
He has been limited in this ball game. Gargis giving it to Barker. He's at the 10, cutting it back, brought down at the 4, maybe the 3-yard line. Is again on the carry is Homewood's Taylor Barker, just a sophomore, number 41, who's had to step in and has done a nice job with the injury to Riley Strauss.
And he's a small guy. He's only 5'10", 155, but this young man has played exceptionally well. This is a big gainer on first down. These are the kind of situations that a team wants to be in as we got an injury on the field, because now you've got something that you can do a lot of different things. You have a lot of options to you because he picked up so much yardage on that first down. It is 2nd and 4. The ball rests at the 4-yard line, 2nd and 4. So they got a lot of chances here to do a lot of different things with their offense. They'll spread it, that's for sure.
Collins to the bottom of your screen. Byram to the top of your screen along with Bevel. Gargis keeping it himself. Touchdown, Homewood.
Okay, that does it. I'm going to get a cot. I'm spending the night here. This is never going to end. What's the record for overtimes in the state playoffs?
A bunch. We'll defer to Lance on that one. Parker Gargis now over 185 yards rushing. He's at 187. This is his 25th carry, resulting in his second TD of the night.
And they're doing all this without their star running back, Riley Strauss, who has to watch across the way because of an injury.
But now they've got to kick the extra point to tie it. Shunts, snap and hold are good. The kick, dead perfect. How about triple overtime?
Why not?
Can you imagine the stress, the strain on the coaches, on those players? We know the intensity in the stands. Heck, we feel it up here in the booth as well. It has been a great high school football game, and the 5A championship will now head to a third overtime.
This game now is exactly 3 hours. 3 hours old. That's a long time for a high school game. 3 hours, and we've still got some more football. John Cassimus down on the sidelines. John, what do you got? How about this ball game, Johnny?
Unbelievable. This is what you live for in high school football right here. Guys, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but Jeremy Shops, when he runs on and off the field, he is limping severely. What a heart the kid has to go out there under the pressure he's under and kick these extra points like that, because it does mean the difference between winning and losing.
Good point, John. You're right. And he knows there's no tomorrow, and he's going to suck it up. And all these kids, in this time of the year, when you're talking about playing your 15th game, we mentioned this on several other broadcasts. There are a lot of injured players out there, a lot of nicks and bruises simply because it's a long football season. They've been playing since late August. Now Homewood goes right back on offense.
Let's look at the scoring in the second overtime. It starts for Benjamin Russell with Kendrick able to score on the short carry. And then Gargis able to answer.
So that's where we stand right now, 24-24. Homewood brings their offense right back out on the field because Benjamin Russell, as we did the little flip-flop, and now they go back on defense.
Well, since we moved to the Super 6, first time we've had triple overtime in Class 5A. So that answers your question. This is still a relatively new format. Fourth year that we've seen this format that has brought all 6 state championship games to Legion Field in Birmingham over a 3-day period. The first time we've ever had live television for the event, and we are honored to be a part of this 5A title tilt. Triple overtime, first and goal, Homewood from the 10 of Benjamin Russell. Barker cutting it up near the 6-yard line. He's corralled there by Carlton Davis, who makes the stop.
I am really impressed with Taylor Barker. He has done a wonderful job filling in for Riley Strauss, who has had a terrific year. One of the top players in the state in 5A, came into this game more than 1,360 yards, injured, a bad foot, had to go out, and this young sophomore has stepped in and just done one heck of a job.
Gargis again, cuts it back, scores again, touchdown, Homewood.
You know what we're seeing now, Chris? These kids are tired. These defenses are just plain tuckered out.
Now, I lost count, Herb. Normally, they will alternate on series, but I think Parker Gargis has gone more than 2 series in a row at quarterback.
Well, yeah, he has. It's because he's the better runner.
Exactly.
Bragg is a better thrower, and Parker's got a little more shiftiness to him, and he truly is the better runner of the two. By the way, 26 carries for Parker Gargis, 193 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Another extra point attempt by Schatz. This one just gets inside the left upright.
Woo-hoo. That was close. And look at the young man. Yeah, I mean, it's a very noticeable limp.
He is kicking on one leg and one giant heart. They may talk about kickers, and they take a hard time for being the little fellas that may not have to lift as many weights and all that stuff, but this guy's got a huge heart. This one just inside the left upright.
Almost looked like one of my hooks with my driver.
4 left. But that one got through. I picked on you about the wrestling. I'm not going to mess with your golf game, I promise. John Casimus down on the sidelines. We're going to play all night?
Hey, we may. You guys, Justin Buchanan just came off the field, totally perplexed, looking at his teammate saying, we cannot stop that play. I guess he feels like we'll be here all night, too, defensively.
Benjamin Russell trying to answer. They must. They trail by 7. They're stopped on that play, though. Kendrick brought down by Chris Turner, the junior. 6 feet, 195 pounds, the leading tackler, making the first hit defensively for Homewood here in the 3rd overtime.
Turner and Chris McCauley have come up big time and time again tonight. Now, let me tell you why that play is so huge. They actually lost a yard on the play. It is 2nd and 11. This is not a passing football team. They've got to rely on the run. Now they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves.
2nd and goal, keeping it at the quarterback, and he will scoot to about the 3-yard line. Jordan Thomas hasn't carried the ball often tonight, but boy, he's been effective, certainly in the overtime period.
He really has. Very seldom we've seen carry the ball, but Homewood hasn't seen it much either. That's why they're a little bit surprised. You see they're come crashing down, and thank goodness for Brandon Brown. If Brandon hadn't been there, we'd have seen Mr. Thomas in the end zone. I say thank goodness for Homewood, but this team is knocking on the door again, and Benjamin Russell, they've got so much heart themselves, they're not going to give up without a great fight here.
Davis and Kendrick, the setbacks. Thomas giving it to Kendrick, and he is brought down at about the 2-yard line. Plain and simple, this will be the football game. 4th down and goal from the Homewood 2. We're in the 3rd overtime of the Class 5A state championship game, and Benjamin Russell will use a timeout.
Yeah, well, they should. You know why? Because this is it. They've got to make it. They don't have any choice. They can't kick a field goal. They got 4th and 2. And Phil Lasserby and the rest of his staff, they are gathered there talking to the offense about the play they want to run. This has to be the right play, or this game is going to end after triple overtime. Oh, my, what a game, folks. There's nothing better than great state high school football play. And we got more for you with 2 big games tomorrow. Look at this last play. They have not been able to stop it. You heard what John said when Buchanan came to the sideline. He was saying, I don't know what it is. We cannot stop that play. They haven't stopped it all night long for Homewood. As you can see on the sidelines, a very concerned Benjamin Russell team, because they're wondering, is our season going to end right here? They played more than 3 hours. They played more than 15 weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this. If this game is going to continue, a 4th and 2. Okay, Chris, John, real quick. John, down to you. What do you call?
He's got his game face on.
What do you call, Chris?
I think you go on the keeper again with Jordan Thomas. We'll see. Here's your ball game in your 5A state championship. Thomas giving it. Kendrick, he will score. Second, make it 3rd effort. Able to stretch across the goal line in utter exhaustion. And Benjamin Russell back within a point. It's 31-30.
And that's what you get when you get a big back. He is 6 feet, 230 pounds, and he used every inch of his size as well as his weight. It was that second, and you see he does cross the plane. So close, but yet so far away for Homewood, but a huge play there by one Jawanski Kendrick, who has come up big time and time again tonight for this Benjamin Russell team. Brent Dye, he's almost automatic. He's as good as they get on extra points.
He's got to make this to send it to the 4th overtime. Snap, hold, kick. They're all good. How about 4 overtimes?
I'm for it.
John Cassimus, what a ball game we've had tonight.
Hey, these guys are laying it on the line. I've never in my life seen anything like this in high school football. Every ounce of energy. Jawanski Kendrick could not even get up off the ground. He wasn't hurt. He was just simply exhausted. What an amazing game. These guys are digging down deep within inside like they learned in August doing 2-a-days. This is what it's all about. Never quit, never surrender, and fight to the end.
Anybody's got a saw, we can just split that trophy in half if you want to. We've gone now 3 overtimes, and they have both battled throughout.
If we can get that queued up again, the extra point, I want to make mention of number 16, Jeffrey Haynes, the senior holder for Brent Dye. Did you see him reach back?
Exactly.
He reached back and he got that ball down because that could have easily gone through his hand. We're going to take a look at it again. Nice job there, Jeffrey. Watch this. This ball is really centered left. Look how he has to reach back. And now he's got to get it down on that tee. He's got to get those laces flipped around, and he does, in a great kick by an outstanding young kicker in Brent Dye.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Dye with a lot of confidence in Jeffrey Haynes. He never even hesitated on his steps towards the football.
I've lost track whose turn it is to go on defense. I'm confused.
I think it's Benjamin Russell on offense this time.
Any chance they'll run?
I would say complete chance. Look at the hold again. A great job by Jeffrey Haynes. We talk about the special teams plays. Miscues in both games set up touchdowns, one for each team. The only touchdowns that we saw actually, I believe, in regulation. When you look at what's happened in overtime, or actually at the end of regulation, it was a blocked field goal from 28 yards out by Benjamin Russell's Eric Brock that even put us in overtime.
Good point, Chris. Let's go back to, it seems many hours ago now, let's go back to late in the 3rd quarter. This score was 10-0, and then Homewood tied it 10-10. Did you ever think we would see 62 points on the board?
Not at all. The give to LaRon Towns. Haven't called his name in quite a while. He stretches across the 10 to the 9-yard line. Jake Galbraith leading the charge. Also there, Bo Spear, John Cassimus.
Hey, you guys, the flip-flopping format in high school football actually, for Benjamin Russell's sake right now, could actually be a detriment. They got some of their key players who are very tired. They just got through with a long, tough drive, and here they go having to score again. You may see they may falter right here and only have to kick a field goal.
That's a good point, John, because you mentioned Kendrick absolutely exhausted just a moment ago. He's joined in the backfield by Davis. Thomas wants to throw. He's got a man there, but he missed it. Just beyond the reach of Carlton Davis. And you saw the look of frustration on the face of Jordan Thomas. He knows that he missed a wide-open receiver.
Well, he couldn't believe it. He was so wide open, but they set it up with a good fake because Kendrick was so used to seeing him get it. And Davis is wide open, an errant throw by Thomas, and it really surprised the Homewood defense. Why? That was only their 4th pass attempt of the night.
Looking at the total plays now, 50 for Benjamin Russell. And Jordan Thomas has been under center for every one of them. He's tired. The running backs are tired. The linemen are tired. Both sides near exhaustion, but still battling. 4th overtime of the Class 5A state championship game. Phil Lazenby talking things over with his team to get 1 timeout per overtime period.
In all of these overtimes, this now into 4 overtimes, this is the first time we've seen them faced with a 3rd and 10. They've been used to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and a half, and they've been able to come up with Kendrick going it over for the touchdown. Now suddenly, 3rd and 10, most teams would find themselves in a passing situation. Will Benjamin Russell? Remember, only 4 attempts. They've only completed 1 all night long. This might be your ball game.
They dipped into the bag of tricks on 2nd down. Coming up with the pass play, it was there, but Thomas could not connect.
Chris, and I say ball game because if they throw, they don't complete it, or if they run it and they don't pick up a lot of yardage here, you know they're going to have to settle for a field goal.
They feel pretty confident, I'm sure, with Brent Dye, but they would rather have him kick an extra point rather than a field goal in this 4th overtime period. Again, Davis and Kendrick, your running backs. Thomas on play action, looking, running out of time, running out of room. He is brought down. Mark Longworth making the hit once again. The junior linebacker has had a great ball game tonight for the Patriots.
That defense is exhausted, but they have come up big again. They have no choice whatsoever. Now Coach Lazenby has to rely on his defense to hold Homewood, which they haven't been able to do all night long on that one particular play. But this is a huge, and this is no gimme. We're talking, what, 34 yards?
That's exactly right. That's what makes the loss on the play so big. The snap was high. The hold is good. The kick is true. Brent Dye, he's got ice water in his veins. Drains the field goal there. 34-31. Homewood will have the 2nd possession from the 10-yard line as we look at the kick again.
Look, an end zone view here. Brent Dye, Mr. Cool. Look at this. Straight down the middle. And young Mr. Hayes, who came up big on that extra point a moment ago, does a nice job getting it down on the tee. He is a senior himself. He's the backup kicker, and very important. A lot of people overlook the holder. They don't think much about holders, but no question about it, they're just as important as the kicker. They got to get the ball down on the tee, and that he did. So let's see what Homewood's going to do. John, what do you think?
Guys, I don't know about you, but Brent Dye and Ricky Rhodes, if I'm a college recruiter, I'm gonna give those guys a scholarship. They're unbelievable.
Working from the gun, Parker Gargis still at quarterback for Homewood. Giving it to Barker. Nothing there around right in. May have lost a yard.
May have gone to the well once too often, as the Benjamin Russell Maroon defense did a beautiful job in stretching that out. And that's the way you defend that spread offense.
Parker Gargis, the quarterback, splitting the duties under center tonight with Bragg Knight, has gone the distance in overtime. He's got 3 wideouts to the near side of the field. Barker joining him in the backfield as Gargis works his way near the 5-yard line. It will be 3rd and goal from there.
Homewood, I think here, is Bob Newton has got, and his offensive coordinator, David Jones. I don't think they have any choice here. They've got to throw the ball in the end zone. Because if it's incomplete, and certainly you would hope it's not intercepted for their sake, then they know that more than likely they got to score 3 points, and we continue. I think they go to the end zone here. I don't think you run in this spot.
Grady Young, the wide out to the bottom of your screen. Bevel and Collins up top. Byram is the 3rd receiver. They'll look back left. He's got a receiver there, but overthrows it. Trying to connect with Young. The pass falls incomplete. It's 4th and goal. And I believe we will see Jeremy Schatz.
Oh, yes, indeed we will. It's almost like the throwback to Collins earlier in the game where Homewood scored a touchdown. He goes in and then comes back out. It's almost like a semi-fade route that's become so popular that if he didn't catch it, nobody could. It does fall harmlessly to the ground. And now Jeremy Schatz, once again, the onus is on him. Big hit.
23-yard field goal to tie the game. Snap and hold are good. The kick is up. The kick is good. How about 5 overtimes?
This is just, I'm glad that we're here doing this game and that we're all witnessing history. Now, forget about it. I don't care how long they've been playing, and I know they've been playing the state championship, but in this format only 4 years, but for many, many years, this has to be a record. We've gone now to about to go into our 5th overtime, and you know what they talk about? A game of inches. Let me show you a game of inches. This barely clears the left upright. Just barely. He almost hooked an extra point earlier. That one cleared a little bit better because it really goes left after it clears the upright.
Tell you what, I don't know how much weight that young man can lift. It doesn't matter because he has put the entire team on his shoulders in the overtime period this evening. He has been able to match Brent Dye of Benjamin Russell kick for kick. In what will go down as one of the greatest state championship games in Alabama high school football history. We are headed to our 5th overtime period between the Wildcats of Benjamin Russell and the Homewood Patriots. Here's a look at the overtime scoring. Collins on the receiving end. Thomas running one in for Benjamin Russell. Herb, the Wildcats, able to answer back with Kendrick.
Parker Gargis taking it in. Tied again. Parker Gargis again. We're tied yet again. And then here's Brent Dye, a big field goal. And now Jeremy Schatz. He answers. It's good. And we're into overtime number 5.
And those are just the overtime highlights, folks. We had a pretty good one for 4 quarters as well. Now Homewood with their first possession in the 5th overtime. Only 2 wideouts in formation this time. Bevel up top. Colt Byram just out of your screen to the bottom. Barker rumbling. Brought down at the 5-yard line. They never actually bring him down. Finally, he does. But John Casimus, they may play all night, buddy.
This is the first time in the last 3 series that they've changed the play on 1st and 2nd down. They ran the sweep the other 3 series, and this time they ran a little trap to the sophomore running back up the middle. So it'll be interesting to see if they come back with that counter here with the quarterback or do something completely different.
Well, the trap has been awfully good to them all night long, and I'm just really impressed by young Taylor Barker, who has done a yeoman's job stepping in for the injured Riley Stroud.
Gargis keeping it himself. The push to the 5 and nothing more. They blow it dead as Parker Gargis gets to the 5-yard line. So 3rd and goal from there for the Homewood Patriots as we look at it again.
Do you realize this ball game now is 3 hours and 28 minutes old? I think that is going to be some sort of record as well. I'm sure the 5 overtimes is, and the total length of this game, I think, is probably the longest in state football playoff history. 3 hours and 28 minutes.
Gargis looking, throwing, completing the touchdown pass. Colt Byram on the receiving end, and Homewood goes back on top.
That was a well-designed play. We're so used to seeing Parker Gargis run the football. He has run it time and time again. He just decides, I'll throw one in, and it's about time they picked up their great wide receiver, Colt Byron. He's been relatively quiet, at least in this overtime period, but you know, he led this football team with the most catches and receiving yardage during the regular season. He comes up big.
Jonathan Durr with a hold. Shots the kick. This one's perfect. No drama here. Homewood leads by 7. 41-34, and you see, you know, he's got the Patriot on the side of his helmet. He walks around like the Spirit of 76 as well, John Casimus.
Guys, can you believe this? Sophomore quarterback with the poise to roll out, a right-handed quarterback, roll out left and throw a perfect strike with a guy right on his hip for a touchdown. Amazing for a true sophomore.
I'll tell you what else is amazing. I've noticed both coaches are smiling a little bit. I think they're enjoying this.
Well, they may right now. They'll enjoy it a whole lot more if they're on the winning side. But Parker Gargis, the junior quarterback for Homewood, completing the pass to Colt Byram.
And if we can rerun that, I'll show you how the young man 41 has come up big. I'm talking about Taylor Barker. Look at Taylor. He makes a nice block there. And that really gives Parker an extra second to find Byram open in the end zone. Can't say enough about the sophomore running back. He has truly been one of the heroes for the Homewood team. If you're a Patriot fan, you got to be proud of this young man.
Now Benjamin Russell has to answer. First and goal from the 10. The pitch. Kendrick trying to get to the corner. He will be brought down. Chris Turner again making the stop. Carlton Davis, excuse me, the man on the carry.
And watch this play. Matt Allison, number 22, comes right down the line, and they couldn't block him in the back because that would have been a clip. They had to let him go, and he scrapes off. He makes another huge tackle, and why not? Because Matt Allison, the leading tackler on this team during the regular season, the middle linebacker has come up big here. It's 2nd and 12.
Right up the gut. Powering his way to the 4-yard line, Jawanski Kendrick. As Benjamin Russell tries to answer what Homewood has been able to do, as you see Kendrick struggling with what looks like a leg cramp, he hobbles to the sideline. John Casimus, what have you got?
He's walking right by me, guys. He's extremely tired. He's got a cramp in his right hamstring. Leaning over, I expect him to come right back in. I've never seen determination like that. Breaking tackles, have a will for the goal line. It's amazing.
And let me tell you something. He's going to have to stay out for this play. Injured player come to the sidelines. You have to stay out at least one play. That's big because he is the workhorse. He's 230. They don't have him here.
3rd and goal. Towns, nothing. And it's come down to this. 2 overtime periods ago, Benjamin Russell was faced with 4th and goal, and they scored.
Well, they go right up the middle with a little back. There's a lot of difference when you got a little back versus a big back like Kendricks. And LaRon Towns, although he's a fine scat back, he is barely 160 pounds, and that Homewood defense just ate him up. They need number 26 back in the game. I don't think they'll throw on 4th down. I would be surprised. But once again, from the 6-yard line, they've got to have number 26, and they know it too. Because if he's not in, Chris, that means they don't have to worry about him.
John?
Bill Glasby just asked Lewanski Kendrick if he could go. He said, "Yes, I can go, Coach. Let me run the football."
Heart of a lion. Both of these football teams, hearts of lions.
Might as well. You got all season to rest. Kendrick has been a great player for Benjamin Russell. He's had a great night. Carlton Davis also running football. Parker Gargis for Homewood, 29 carries, 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. We've seen 2 different rosters. One says he's a sophomore, one says he's a junior. I think John Casimus was right. I believe he's a sophomore. Doesn't matter. He's playing like he's a 5th-year senior right now at the college level, the way he's run the offense for the Homewood Patriots. But now it's up to the Homewood defense. If they can come up with a stop here and keep Benjamin Russell out of the end zone, after After 5 overtimes, the Patriots will be state champions for the 3rd time. Kendrick limps into the game, joined in the backfield by Davis. Jordan Thomas, the quarterback. There's the wingback in motion to the near side, Demetrius Shealy. Thomas looking to throw, scrambling. Nobody's open. He'll throw it up. It is incomplete. Homewood High School, your Class 5A high school state champion.
And let's just enjoy the moment. Let's get some shots as the Homewood football team, the fans are coming out of the stand, and pandemonium has broke out here, and let's enjoy it.
The pictures tell the story. Homewood, exhilarating. Benjamin Russell, the agony of defeat as the state champions in Class 5A this year. The Homewood Patriots because of the defensive play here.
Watch this play again. The fake to Kendrick. They were going to surprise the Homewood defense because they don't throw very much. Only their 5th game, and we played 5th pass, I should say, attempt, and we played 5 overtimes. And as you see, outstretched arms, and you got 2 defenders there, one of them being Parker Gargis. He came in and played defensive back here because he is such a terrific athlete, and they try to get it to number 9, Demetrius Shealy. But Homewood is right there on the spot. 2 good plays by Nick Newell, and also Parker Gargis, and also in there was Jonathan Herr, the senior defensive back. So the 3 of them, they come up big, and this is what you hate to see. You lay it on the line, you play for over 3.5 hours, and you're going home as the state runner-up.
Bob Newton's team shaking hands with Phil Lazenby's teams. John Cassimus talking with a very happy and likely a very exhausted Bob Newton.
Coach Newton, what do you say? 5 or 6 overtimes, one of the most amazing football games I've ever seen. How do you feel?
I feel tremendously proud of our team and our coaches and our kids, and I feel sorry for Benjamin Russell too because they played their hearts out too, and it was a great high school ball game. It would have been a great college game, pro game, anything. It was a great game, and we're very fortunate to win, and we're very happy.
Coach, what made the difference tonight? What ultimately decided whether you guys were going to win this game or not?
I wish I knew that because I'd sell it and make a lot of money, okay? But I don't know. Just we work hard, they work hard. We won tonight. It might, you know, we play 9 more times. It may change out. We can't take credit. We just are thankful we played hard. They played hard, and we came out a few points ahead this time.
What can you say about Parker Gargis? The play of a sophomore tonight led you guys continuously into the end zone.
Parker's a winner. He's a tough competitor. And my other quarterback, Bragg Knott's a winner. He's a tough competitor. And they're both coming back for some more of it, and I'm real happy about that.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Back up to you guys.
John Cassimus, thank you for your work tonight. I'm not really certain what we can say, Herb, that we haven't said already. The 5A state champions, Homewood, but I tell you what, Benjamin Russell deserves something better than just runner-up status, don't they?
Well, I don't think you can say anything. 2 terrific football teams played their hearts out, but unfortunately only one can carry home the state championship trophy. It stays here in the Birmingham area. It goes to Bob Newton and his Homewood Patriots. Congratulations. Congratulations to Coach Lazenby, too. Both of these are fine coaches who do a great job with their programs. And Chris, we got to hurry home and get some sleep. We're back out here tomorrow early. I'll see you then. It's been fun.
Looking forward to it at noon. The 3A championship on the line, but what a privilege to watch this 5A title game. 41-34, our final score. Homewood defeating Benjamin Russell to win the 5A crown. For Herb Winches and John Cassimus and all of us here, I'm Chris Stewart. Thanks so much for watching, and good night from Legion Field in Birmingham.